They say everything is bigger in Texas, and the ambition of drivers new and old looking for their first win certainly is. Everyone's eyes are on the prize headed into this second race of season number 4 at the first, quote, real racetrack on the schedule. A bumpy Texas is here to challenge drivers of every variety in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Fort Worth, Texas. My name, of course, is Andrew Cardinale IV with Zach Murtis alongside, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Texas is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ascendance Trucking, by Ideal Lease, by Sundance Pizza, by Performance Food Group, and of course by Whiplash Sim Gams, and we cannot forget tonight's premier partner, of course, the U.S. Aviation Academy. It's going to be a fun one, Zach. We're going to quickly go through track map and stuff like that as qualifying is taking place. This is the 2009 scan of Texas Motor Speedway. I know you're looking at the pretty B-roll of the brand new racetrack that was repaved a few years back, but we are on the 2009 scan of Texas this evening. Of course, it is a quad oval. It seats 75,000 people. It was opened back in 1996, and this is that original track that we're racing on this evening, or at least close to it. 1.5 miles, 2.41 kilometers. It is bad fast and super bumpy.
That it is, and the qualifying times definitely show it with how these guys are running in practice compared to how they're running now. It's oh, excuse me. Sorry, I just had dinner. But it's compared to the qualifying times that we're seeing right now, compared to what we have seen in Texas in the newer years with the 1 and 2 being reconfigured. It's a change of pace. It's something that feels nostalgic to me. Obviously, I don't think we're going to have anybody going into the turn 1 wall like Michael McDowell did, but it's still got a nostalgic type feel, and I love seeing these preserved types of racetracks on the iRacing.com sim. I'm going to keep saying it, but it gives me nostalgia, Andrew. I love seeing it. It's the type of track that we watched on like NASCAR 09 and whatnot.
Yeah, this is a classic feel for sure, at least nostalgic feel, I'd say. I don't think it qualifies as a classic just yet, but it is getting close. Taking a look at the standings coming into tonight, only one race down. We won't talk about this a whole lot these first couple of races, but Johnny Wood Jr. is atop the standings despite Dustin Stallings' win at Daytona a week ago. Christian Barnes with that Stage 1 win is third of the standings, and other highlights definitely include the rest of the top 5. Patrick Hernandez and Ronnie Osmer. Hernandez is not a driver we're used to seeing this high in the standings, and Osmer, we don't know where he's going to fit into this series just yet. And let's not forget Matthew Corder, Dylan Yeager, Nick Renner, these guys that had really good runs at Daytona. We don't know exactly how they're going to fit into the season just yet for season number 4 here in 2025, but they're in the top 10 to start the season off, and that is a good way to get things rolling. Guys who need to work on things certainly would be anybody outside of the top 12. Because if you're not in the top 12 already, you've got to put some work in, you've got to get those points, and you've got to get your way in. Granted, there is still all the time in the world for guys who had bad races like Borbell, Buzzio, and so many more last week at Daytona. There is time. You've just got to be up on the wheel and not waste any races as we move forward. And we'll move forward into the back end of qualifying coverage here as cars have turned laps on the racetrack, and there's Dan Stoccaro turning his lap in the number 62. He brings his run to an end, it looks like. Derek Dryman, though, is on track, and this is our first good look at cars on the racetrack, Zach. Derek Dryman in that number 44, racing around turns 3 and 4 to the start-finish line to complete lap number 2 of his run. It's going to be a 29.436, just a mark off of his first lap. He will stay 30-second quick. Scott Fritz is into extra laps here this evening. He will not get a time in. Robert Moyer Jr. and Jason Bottoms, it looks like, will also not turn lap times of record in this qualifying session, which means that will do it, and it'll be Dustin Stallings. Zach, can you believe this? A last-second win at Daytona that nobody saw coming to starting on pole at Texas this evening. That is a great way for the double lot to get the season started.
Hey, he's just picking up right where he left off. He's got everything left out to hang and dry at the moment, and I think Stallings, I don't want to start speaking now because it's only the second race of the season, but he could be an early championship favorite. And there's a lot of races on this schedule this year, Andrew. They took a similar style to what they did last season. They changed a couple of things up, although, instead of going to the Red Bull Ring, we're going to Austin, and it's more than likely, like you commented last week, the short course. We've got from super speedway to intermediate to short track to speedway again to road course to short track to intermediate to still an intermediate. You can't really classify Dover as a short track. It has characteristics of a short track, but it's more an intermediate track. Then you go to the high banks, or not high banks, the high speeds of Indianapolis with short track characteristics, super speedway style racing. Gateway, Rockingham, back into a short track again. 2 short track like style tracks, another mile and a half. And then we start to chase. There's just so much going on.
With the schedule in mind, let's take a look at our starting lineup for 165 laps here in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. On the pole, on the Lucky Performance starting grid, it's Dustin Stallings in car 00. The girl dad himself will lead us to the green alongside Dylan Yeager. Johnny Wood Jr., points leader, will bring us to the green from 3rd spot. Richard Wolfsfer in 4th. Starting 5th and 6th, Dakota Camper, Ronnie Osmer, a couple of Southern Excitement Racing teammates. Kyle Heath, and Isaiah Sutherland will start in row number 4 with Andrew Rattel and Brendan Maddox in that 10th spot.
Moving on down the running order, in the 11th and 12th spot, you'll find Nick Renner and Cameron Gilmore. They're starting right next to each other. Zachary Brandvold and Braxton Skinner starting alongside each other, 13th and 14th on the grid. 15th and 16th, you'll find Patrick Hernandez and Stephen Borbell. A little bit further down the running order, in the 17th and 18th spots, you'll find Christian Barnes and Joshua Parent, 2 drivers who were very much up front last week at Daytona. Looking forward to seeing them rolling up to the front as well. Josh Anderson and Adam Buzzio will then roll off 19th and 20th.
That's row 10. Row 11 brings us Gray Walker and Jared Hughes. Back in row number 12, it's Cameron Carden and Matthew Corder, a couple of Whiplash Racing teammates. Starting 25th, it's Cody Dorsey and Matthew Selby. Starting 27th and 28th, Evan Patinko and Jamie Plord. And back in row 15, Zachary King and Sam Dyer.
Just on down, you'll find Colton Clark in the 31st position and Derek Dryman in the 32nd. Eric Jensen and Carl Pooler, 33rd and 34th, 35th and 36th. You'll find Brandon Wingerden, I'm getting better at that, and Caden Perkins in the 36th position. 37th and 38th on the starting grid, you'll find Dan Stockero and Scott Fritz. And then 39th and 40th, you'll find Robert Moyer and Jason Bottoms. We'd love to see 40 cars again rolling here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Race number 2. We got a couple of race details to go over before we take the green, don't we?
40 cars coming to the green flag. It'll look like this: 165 laps, 247.5 miles. It's a 165 lap race split into 3 stages of 40, 40, and 85. 5 change sets, 80% fuel, with a fixed setup, 3 green-white checkers, and no fast fix available. Here we come out of turn number 4 to the Geico restart zone. We're going to turn the music down and turn the engines up. We're racing in the Lone Star State at Texas Motor Speedway. Green flag. Down the back stretch, a full field of 40 all together into turn number 3. A couple of moves, bumping, jostling into the 3rd corner. Here we go through turns 3 and 4. Up the racetrack goes Stallings. He comes back down to seal off that bottom lane. But Johnny Wood Jr., an early charge. He'll pass Dylan Yeager.
Almost 3 wide with Sutherland in the middle of that mix back there, but it looks like they'll all get it squared away as we roll through 1 and 2. The first battle on the racetrack, that's for the 2nd spot. Yeager and Johnny Wood Jr. on the inside. Here comes Johnny Wood Jr. Stallings gets tight. He washes up into the wall, and Johnny Wood Jr. is going to take the race lead.
Problems for Matthew Corder. He is junked in the outside wall. Zachary King also in trouble here on lap number 2. No caution for the 4 car. No caution for the 51. We'll keep on racing as Johnny Wood Jr. led that lap. And problems as well for Adam Buzzio for the 2nd week in a row. Let's go back and see what happened.
And it looks like Matthew Corder has blown that motor. So he will be done for the event tonight here, Andrew. That's a heartbreaker.
Here he is into turns 1 and 2. And he just got loose all on his own. Oh my gosh, what a hit.
I know I talked about Michael McDowell and how his hit was. That was very, very similar to how it looked.
Another replay here. Let's go back and see what happened to Cameron Carden here on lap number 2. He also had some trouble in the number 21, so problems in the Whiplash Racing stable. 2 drivers with problems on the same lap, and one of them's out of the race. There you see the 5 of Buzzio and the 21 of Carden. Buzzio is now out of the race. Carden's still in, but Carden went through the grass. They're completing lap number 1 and into lap number 2. What happened to him down here in 1 and 2, though? The inside of Caden Perkins. Oh, Sam Dyer got free. He got hit by the 19, and that all snowballed from there. Dyer got a hold of the race car, but now what in the world, as you see Coulter Clerk go fastest, what in the world happened to the 5 of Adam Buzzio?
Maybe Sam Dyer was trying to avoid quarter in the wall, and that's what started that chain reaction, but it's still not a good situation. Nonetheless, you see Buzzio looking up the inside of Josh Parent. Doesn't get there. I thought they were going to get 3 wide. There's Carden going through the grass as Renner goes purple. Watch Buzzio. He just starts flickering in and out.
And immediately out of the session, it seems. So that's what happened.
He's still here.
And he's back, it seems, 2 laps down. He's getting back into the race, but there's the field as they race. Johnny Wood Jr., Dylan Yeager, and Dakota Camper, your top 3. Ronnie Osborne sits in 4th, Wolsifer in 5th, and Yeager goes to the outside. He's free! Hang on to it! Oh, what a catch.
They're scaring me, Andrew. They're scaring me. Couple of trains down on the bottom. It's a 4-car train onto the bottom. Camper going up to the front, trying to bring Osborne with him. Richard Wolsifer now up into the top 5 as well. Kyle Heath directly behind them, followed by Nick Renner. Dustin Stallings has slipped all the way back to 8th, and then it's Brendan Maddox and Zachary Brandvold rounding out your top 10. It looks like they're all just about trying to get single file on the bottom. We continue to ride on more with Yeager, and Andrew, he is just slipping ever further back. We're going 3 wide.
Heath down low, Camper up top, Yeager through the middle. Up to 3rd spot goes Wolsifer, and Osborne takes over 2nd. A lot of moving around and jostling these opening few laps. The entire field looks different from the start of the race. By the way, Caden Perkins is in the pit lane with trouble. He has been there now for 4 laps, so something else. Yeah, something else happened to that Y'all Squad Camry. They're on lap number 2, beyond just what we saw with Dyer. That is a dire problem for the number 19.
Nice pun.
Yeah, unfortunately not a nice result for the 35 or the 19 car. Certainly one of the best paint schemes in the field, that 19 out of the race early. He's going to try and get back in the race, I'm sure, at some point in time. For now, though, 5 Chevrolets at the front of the field, 6 even. 6 Chevrolets at the front of this BRB racing field. This is incredible. We usually see a lot of the Maverick Motorsports Toyotas up front, even some Fords from Next Level Racing. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of it for a second, but it's all Chevrolets from a litany of teams. You've got Limitless Esports, Southern Excitement Racing. Well, actually, that's really about it.
Well,
and Forza in 5th.
Up there. That's just up there. Moving on down, you've got Dakota Camper. That's Racers for Christ, if I'm not mistaken. Camper's with Racers for Christ.
No, he's over Southern Excitement. He kind of started that effort. So, yeah, Camper fits in there. He's a teammate, I believe. Heath actually is for Racers for Christ. See, they've got me all confused because it's basically the same team for 8 drivers.
Pretty much. It's kind of like how everything was with Furniture Row Racing and Joe Gibbs. They were in the same Toyota camp, but they were basically teammates with how they were sharing equipment. But moving up, though, Limitless Esports looking to make it 1-2 as Wolsifer's down to the inside of Ronnie Osmer. He gets a little free, ends up falling back in line. They'll stay single file. But it's not just those drivers that are up there right now. Look at Renner. He's up on the top side around Dakota Camper. He's out of the Whiplash Racing group. You got Brendan Maddox with Maverick Motorsports. You've got Brandvold right behind him. There's an amalgamation still of teams that are up here inside this top 10. And really, you could throw this top 8, even the top 9 under a blanket as we got to move for the race lead.
For position 1, Johnny Wood Jr. slides and gets into Ronnie Osborne. Here comes Yeager down low. Osborne takes over the race lead. Yeager on the inside makes it 3 into turn number 3. That works out as 1 is loose. It's Wolsifer in the middle of the racetrack getting free. He hangs on, but Renner goes around the outside.
Almost 4 wide there for a second, and Renner's going to take a 3-for-1 move, 3 passes in 1 corner, and now he's going for 3rd. He's on the outside of Johnny Wood Jr. He's hanging on that quarter panel. The outside line gets some really good runs here at Texas Motor Speedway. Oh, they're going to get tight. Johnny goes to the wall. They'll get single file and settle what was a couple of laps of chaos in the corners.
There's craziness all over the racetrack, but we're watching really your top 11 on the racetrack currently. Osmer, Yeager, Wood, Renner, Camper, your top 5. Then Wolsifer, Heath, Maddox, Stallings, and Brandvold, your top 10. Throw in Christian Barnes in 11th spot, and that's your full lead group. That number 27 looks good. I know Meatball Motorsports had an off season back in Season 3. Really didn't have much to claim other than that win in Atlanta for Zach King. But so far, they have found their flagship driver in Christian Barnes. A stage win at Daytona, running 11th here early at Texas. This is looking really good for that Meatball Motorsports number 27, as Renner is going toe-to-toe with Dakota Camper. Renner a little free. Here we go for the race lead. Osborne and Yeager side by side down to turn number 3, and Yeager is going to try and go around on the inside. It's not going to work out just yet. Osborne hanging on the top side of the racetrack. But here we go. Drag race to lead lap 16. I don't know who got it. I think it was Osborne by a couple of thousandths of a second. Caution. Trouble in the back. Josh Anderson, they're still crashing. Eric Jensen, Derek Dryman dropping down the order. Jensen gonna get back rolling. Dryman as well. Problems here on lap 17 now. I told you things were going crazy behind the leaders, and this is what we were talking about. Drivers all over the racetrack battling for spots. Anderson and Dryman just make contact there. Dryman came down and then got loose on exit, and Bottoms had nowhere to go. You see Anderson give a shot there to the 44 as he was spinning, and then Eric Jensen, I think, got punted into that mess with absolutely nowhere to go in that number 88. Let's watch this back. There's the number 88 just ahead of Cameron Carden on the racetrack. Oh.
Ooh. Well, that's not what you want to see.
No, it's not. And unfortunately, that's the second such incident for Cameron Carden this season in 2 races. That's 2 crashes that have happened ahead, and now 2 cars that he's kind of either hit or punted into a crash. There's Carden getting free on the inside of 2. That's what gave the spot up to Jensen. And then right on board with car 21 here. Not a great look. I hate this. Got free, so he's trying to hang on, but then stayed on the gas a little bit long and right in the back of the 88 car. Now, I don't know that Jensen was going to get through that regardless because the 07 came straight up in the lane of traffic, but it did not help to add the 21 in his back bumper. And pit road is a busy, busy place. There you see the 16 of Moyer driving down the pit lane, but several cars are back there taking repairs. Carden, one of them. Dyer as well. Dryman, Jensen, Buzzio is a lap down, getting a lap back. Anderson's in the pit lane, and Perkins, 14 laps down, is in the pit lane. You see all those cars there in that one camera shot. They have had bad luck to get this race started, or bad things happen to them as Dryman will roll down the pit lane and get back out there. Winning the race off of pit road. Actually, well, only a few cars really took to the pit lane. I figured we'd have more, but it's seeming like nobody wants to come in and take their tires early, Zach. I feel like a lot of speedway races, you can hang out with some older tires in the racetrack and be okay. This is one a lot like Atlanta where you might want tires, but really no takers out of the lead 30 cars. And yes, I just liken Texas Motor Speedway to Atlanta Motor Speedway. I was driving around this place yesterday, just getting some laps and getting my bearings about myself, and I really felt like this version of Texas is very similar to the old version of Atlanta. They just felt super, super similar to me. A lot of bumps. You're trying to hang on for grip. The corner exit kind of spits you at the wall on both ends of the racetrack just the same. I really feel like this place is just a different looking Atlanta Motor Speedway from its prime.
Might as well be. With how Texas can be, it feels like a super speedway at times. And I think these guys are starting to figure out how they want to run their cars, how they want to shape up and ship out for the rest of the race. And we still got, we're about halfway through this first stage already, so we still got a lot of races left to go.
We'll be exactly halfway through stage 1 this time by as we come back into the Geico restart zone. Ronnie Osborne, in his very brand new career in the BRB Racing League, leads us back to the green, and we're racing here in stage 1 once again. One car to the outside wall, I believe that was Cameron Gilmore in the 10. But side by side for second. Camper on the inside, he's going to bring Johnny Wood Jr., but Yeager's going to hang on to the spot. The 22 of Renner had a bit of a bad restart. He fell back a row. He's battling now with Kyle Heath. 1 lap complete from the green flag. Yeager still hangs on to second for now.
Emphasis on 4 now as Camper is hounding on that inside line. Johnny Wood Jr. waiting in the wind, seeing if he can make a move for position. You see Osmer drop down to pull Camper up a little bit more. Probably help out a teammate right there. As Wolsifer now to the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. trying to take 4th away from the 75. Renner right behind them. Oh, it gets tight back there. Renner slips underneath Johnny Wood Jr. Falls right in line behind Wolsifer. Looks 3 wide going into the corner. Thought better of it. But we keep on racing.
A great look at the field there to turn 1. Yeager still on the outside of Camper. I love this blimp shot here. It shows you so much context of the top 10 and where everybody is. That was almost Brendan Maddox in the back end of Johnny Wood Jr. there as Kyle Heath goes around the outside of the racetrack. That's one thing I could not figure out in my little bit of testing was how to make the top side work. There's a massive bump down in 1 and 2 that really makes it impossible, I feel like, to go next to the wall. But you can run that middle lane through 1 and 2, and that's exactly where Heath goes. As Brendan Maddox gets a little loose there through 1 and 2. He's going to fall back now to the Spirit Racing 55 of Zachary Brandvold. And Maddox falls outside of the top 10 just like that.
Yeah, Brandvold tagged the wall right there. That was a nifty impact on that little right-hand side. Sutherland almost got to the wall back there. Coming onto the front stretches. They're side by side right here going into 1, 3 rows deep. Lots of fighting going on throughout the field, Andrew. I mean, you were right comparing this to Atlanta. It definitely has an Atlanta-type feel to it. We ride on board with Selby. 1 car out of line, way out of shape. That looks like...
That was Kyle Heath down there.
Out from the back, it looked like Brendan Maddox there for a second. He gets it straightened up. Now he's got a fight with Brandvold. Dustin Stallings right behind them. Meanwhile, Johnny Wood Jr., he's trying to go get after that Whiplash racing car of Nick Renner.
The Limitless Esports driver that leads the point standings coming into tonight, Johnny Wood Jr., I think has to be the favorite going into this season for the title. It was him and Mason Houseman back in season number 3. And frankly, at some points, if Mason had a foot wrong, Johnny could have pounced. Unfortunately for Johnny, Mason put together a bunch of really good races when he needed to and extended that lead perfectly going into the chase and hung on for his 2nd straight championship in as many seasons. I gotta say though, with no Mason in the field, I feel like Johnny is the favorite to win the championship.
Well, I think back to when we first started covering these guys here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Think back to Eldora, when Johnny Wood Jr. was trying a different line. He was running that bottom line, everybody else was running the top, and he was one of the quicker cars there at the end. He just didn't have enough time to capitalize and win the race. And then Sutherland was also one of those guys who was in contention for the championship as Renner gets big time loose. And, you know, there's still so much potential for Johnny Wood Jr., and I gotta agree with you. He's gotta be a championship favorite. But don't count out the guys who were fast last week, like Stallings. I would say Gavin Rogers, but he's a part-timer.
And these 3 out front look really good on an intermediate in these opening 30 laps. Osmer, Yeager, Camper could be the class of the field the rest of the day. We don't know. There's so many unknowns still, learning so many brand new drivers and getting used to them all. Camper, we know him. He's been great these last couple of seasons, but only has that 1 win at Daytona to show for it. Osmer and Yeager, brand new to the series. We don't know exactly what to expect from them just yet as they lead here early in this U.S. Aviation Academy 250. 29 laps complete and a whole lot more to go.
2:10 to go in the stage. Next time by the flag stand. You see Renner now trying to hang on. He was a little bit further up inside the top 5.
Oh, big hit to the wall from the 22, and a big slide from the 23, and a big move from the 24. What's funnier than 24? 25.
You had the SpongeBob reference, didn't you?
I did. Oh, Brandville at the racetrack.
That's another hit to the wall. There's one further back. I think it was Hernandez. Don't quote me on it, though. That's what it looked like for a second. Everyone's starting to get really free, Andrew. These tires are wearing out big time. This is one thing that was talked about when they initially tested this setup, as you see Renner down the racetrack a little bit, that over the course of the run, these guys are going to get loose. And this is one guy that I know is like to capitalize on getting free over the course of the run. That's Josh Parent. He knows how to save tires. He knows how to get these cars in a position that they can be good on the long run. And it looks like it's starting to show. He started down in the 18th position, and now he's working on some stage points on his teammate, no less.
Whiplash Racing drivers Nick Renner and Josh Parent going at it for 10th spot. That's the final position that would pay stage points as Maddox gets the wall. Hernandez gets the wall, and a swerve there from Fritz. Into turn number 3 here on lap number 2, and Stallings works the back bumper of Parent. Parent going to hang on in that KZ Ford Mustang. He will hang on to 11th spot for now. Up front, though, we cannot lose sight of the race leaders because Osmer, Yeager, and Camper could easily get to fighting here very, very quickly. And speaking of quickly, let's quickly look at the weather graphics. 78 degrees in the air, 91 on track. That's why these guys are getting free.
Slick. It's slick. Look at him moving around back there. Look at Brandville dropping in behind Heath. Sutherland moving to the bottom now. They are all searching around at this point. At this point, they're just searching for grip. That's what they need. Moving around, making contact. Sutherland trying to hang on over Kyle Heath. He's got to get around Selby, and he's got to do it quick. Just going to start backing up these guys. Richard Wolsifer's dropping further down as well. Josh Parent just went by him for 9th. They're going to get single filed out. And now the fight up further. Dakota Camper, he's trying to make a run at 2nd over Yeager. Osmer is stretching his lead out by half a second now.
I think Osmer right now is a lock to win the stage unless we get a caution, and even then, it would burn enough laps. I think the stage would be over at this point if we got a caution flag. So Camper going to try and chase down his teammate maybe, but he might be too far back at this point as Yeager is still hanging on to 2nd place. He just will not let it go on the outside lane. The full tilt driver hangs on and is really making the 3 cars' life difficult, but finally Camper will get clear. Johnny Wood Jr. in 4th. Isaiah Sutherland there in 5th. He's trying to get that spot away from Matthew Selby.
They have been working each other over for the last few laps now. Selby's not really giving an inch, and that's allowing Johnny Wood Jr. to just ride comfortably in that 4th spot. Sutherland gets a big run, though. He's going to try to get clear of the 46, hanging on the quarter panel. Can't go anywhere. Sutherland is probably punching air right now, thinking, I know I have a faster car. I know I've got the better ability right now. But if Selby keeps hanging on that right-hand side, it's just pulling all the air around. You saw it right there, a big snap out of Isaiah Sutherland off of turn 4.
A big bobble for sure, but he hangs on to his ground down low, and Heath is just looking at this wondering where he can go to try and get by these guys. By the way, your entire top 34 all on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is Derek Dryman, and there's another that is in trouble. Josh Anderson just rolled out of the pit lane with a few laps to go here in stage number 1. Back to that fight around the 10th spot. It's Brendan Maddox and Josh Parent as Stallings goes by the 90 car. In the 90, whoa, real free there was Parent. Here comes Maddox to take advantage as one car goes through the grass in the background.
Stay green. Gonna be 2 laps to go this time by in the stage. So pit road will be closed. Nobody's gonna be able to go down pit road without taking a penalty. Maddox clears Parent, gonna drive away. The gaggle going on behind. Scott Fritz leads that group of cars all around. Somebody must have hit the wall. I don't know what happened. Maybe somebody's got front tires. Everything's just getting shuffled around back there in the midfield, but they get it squared away. They're straight, they're rolling, and we are still green flag racing with about a lap and a half to go in the stage as they roll out of turn 2. Ronnie Osmer still 0.5 of a second over Dakota Camper, and Wolsifer, I'll tell you, he has dropped back, Andrew, but thankfully he'll get a caution here once Osmer takes the stage.
Final lap of stage 1 coming up next. Ronnie Osmer going to lead us across the stripe. 1 lap to go here in stage number 1. And the brand new driver to this series could absolutely get it done this evening, and he will start the day off so long as he makes it back around with a Stage 1 win. Big hit to the wall for Dylan Yeager. Those tires have run out of grip, and it'll be Sutherland and Johnny Wood Jr. going right on by those couple of classics from Season 3 that had so much fun battling. They are back here in Season 4 and looking good in the top 5, but to the stripe, how about Ronnie Osmer winning Stage 1 at Texas?
Followed by Dakota Camper, Isaiah Sutherland, Johnny Wood Jr. brings it home in the 4th spot. Dylan Yeager, Kyle Heath, Matthew Selby, Zachary Brandville, Dustin Stallings, and Brendan Maddox ends up edging Josh Parent for that last stage point. And now we get to see just how the fuel strategy is going to go as the pace car makes its way around the field of drivers. Pit road's about to be a very busy place, Andrew.
Should be a pretty cut and dry 4-tire and full tank of fuel stop for these guys, but you never know. You could see a 2-tire stop from somebody just to try something. Maybe take a bet on another caution, but I can't imagine anybody takes 2 tires this early. It should be, as I said, 4 tires all around, as Ronnie Osmer will lead us down to the pit lane. There you see the big Dickies sign at the entrance of pit lane, and here we go. First pit stops of the race.
The whole field. You see Josh Anderson staying out to get a wave around. He's going to be 18 laps down.
Derek Dryman also went by. He's a lap down. He should get that lucky dog as here we go into the boxes for pit stops.
The race off pit road is going to be tight. Stallings missed the box. He had to back up into his pit box. That's not going to fare well on pit exit here. Multiple drivers already out and away. Wintergarten is out.
Wingerden,
excuse me.
Wingerden did not stop.
Oh.
He ran right through the pit lane. I think that's so he can pit later in the caution. Camper, first car off the pit lane. Problems for Ronnie Osmer. He will come out a little further back. He had a longer stop. If you look at the pit timer here, 14.62 seconds on the clock versus Camper's 14 flat. In fact, 13.95. So, not a great stop for the 15 car in his first trip down the pit lane, but we will dial him up for a comment after winning stage number 1. And just really a solid way to get his season started. Was a lot of fun to watch back at Daytona. Now opens up Texas and the U.S. Aviation Academy 250 with a stage win. Ronnie, that is a good way to get the season started on these, quote, real racetracks. How's the car feel?
The car's feeling pretty good. It just it's pretty tight to start off the run, then loosens out over the run coming off the corner, and so just doing best to manage the rear tires, and just unfortunately missed my pit stall a little bit, and that cost me a few positions, so just keep doing what I can to get back to the front.
So a little bit of work to do here in stage 2, but you started from 6th there in stage 1 and raced up to the front. Are you ready for this challenge now in stage 2? A few different drivers mixing things around?
I feel pretty confident as long as it plays out the same, even with the different drivers. I think I can still do it. Get it back out there.
And of course, this is your first foray with the BRB Racing League, learning these guys, getting used to how everyone races. How's it been so far from Daytona and now the first stage of Texas?
So far it's been pretty good. Get a 5th at Daytona and then win the stage here. So I feel it's been pretty fun so far, and we'll see how the season goes.
Hard not to have fun when you're out front. That's the 15 car, Ronnie Osmer, with a stage win. Congratulations on the stage win, and hopefully we'll talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Ronnie Osmer will move him back up to Southern Excitement Racing's Discord channel. A great way to get this season to open up. As we'll work an extra lap of caution here. Dakota Camper and Isaiah Sutherland will be the front row. Former teammates, now affiliates. Dakota Camper over at Southern Excitement Racing. Sutherland still at Racers for Christ. They'll, of course, have affiliates / teammates / everything else mixed around in the top 10 as well, with Kyle Heath in 5th and Ronnie Osmer in 7th on this restart. But, Zach, if we look at the standings after Daytona, I said we wouldn't talk about it much, and I promise we won't. But Osmer already in the top 5 through stage points and finishing points, and now has those extra 10 points for winning the stage. He very well, depending on how the race works out from here, very well could walk out of here better than 5th, maybe even in that first spot.
Absolutely he could. The stage points are already working in his favor. So I would think that he's got a definite good chance to make things happen. Before we take the green though, Andrew, just got to give you a quick heads up. Stallings ended up losing out into 12th after the choose and that restart conundrum with missing the pit box. And a couple other drivers were able to pick it up, but it looks like we're going right back to the green.
Here we go, back to the Geico restart zone. Lap 44 becomes lap 45. We are back green in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250 in Texas. Down the backstretch, a couple of cars getting high, wide, and handsome there at a turn number 2, but your top 3 getaways, single file campers, Sutherland and Wood.
Saw Branville tag the wall there. Big move by Josh Parent to go down to the inside. Got a great restart, jumped over Brendan Maddox. Now he's side by side with Zachary Branville to try and take that spot away in the 5th position. Parent down to the bottom, right in behind Kyle Heath. That outside line working, but Branville big time loose. They'll stay side by side. Branville hits the wall again.
Just kissed it that time, but here comes Osborne now to the inside of Brendan Maddox to turn number 3, and Branville comes down across the bumper, the 15. Osborne jumps out of the gas, hangs on to things, and we keep racing. No harm, no foul.
Branville, it seems like he's on defense right now, major time defense, with how much he was all over the racetrack. A little bit further back, though, we see a bit of a mix going on, almost 3 wide. Might get 3 wide. Selby washing backwards, Barnes down to the inside to see if he can try to make a move, but the run forming. Now, you've got Scott Fritz down to the inside. Renner trying to follow. They are going to get 3 wide, maybe 4 wide here. Carl Pooler gets around. Oh my goodness, Barnes jumped in. Renner all up over the racetrack. He's in the middle, 3 wide, splitting. There's so much going on, Andrew.
A crazy and chaotic race already in these opening laps of stage number 2. Continuing on that crazy stage 1. Parent to the inside of Heath. He's looking for 4th spot. 1 down low. That's Carl Pooler having a decent day so far. He's into the top 15 and looking for more. 3 wide through 3 and 4.
Big thing, though, that we got to take away from stage 1 is a lot of these guys burn their tires up early as they're 3 wide up in front. Selby to the inside of Stallings gets back single file. And with how hard they're racing, Andrew, they could burn their tires up even quicker than they did in stage 1. And that was a straight green run aside from that midway caution point.
Right ahead of Carl Pooler, you see the brand new number 6 of Andrew Rattel. He's going to move forward on the outside of Matthew Selby, who gets put 3 wide by his teammate Scott Fritz down low. That is right at the back end of the top 10. Rattel even into the 10th spot would earn a stage point if the stage ended now. But let's see how this shakes out. 30 laps to go, 31 laps to go actually, here in stage number 2. Renner fighting back. This is a hornet's nest as Maddox gets into Osborne. Osborne back into Maddox, and they are 4 wide out the corner. That's not going to work. There goes Selby. There goes Rattel. Barnes is in it.
Involved. Renner involved.
Saw that coming from a mile away.
They could have given each other just a little bit more room there, Andrew. That's kind of what, according to all of that, you said it. You saw it a mile away. That was a pretty obvious incident, all things considered.
Yeah, we saw that shaping up for a corner or two, and watch the 23 left side of your frame along with the 15 who won stage 1.
Selby, though, the first one to go around. Fritz next to him.
Yeah, but it starts when Maddox goes up the racetrack. Osborne gets back down into him. They fight. They bully around a little bit down the straightaway. And then Rattel gets turned by Pooler, and that's after Selby went around in that 4 wide issue. They tried to fit 4 cars where there was simply not room for 4 cars. Watch this back. Right there.
Up the track.
Oh, big hit for Fritz. Big hit for Renner.
A little bit of right front damage right there. That's 3 of the 4 Whiplash racing cars involved in incidents today, Andrew. And like I know we kind of talked about it last week with not trying to talk about it too much, since that's the team that we have kind of gone into a bit of a co-ownership with, but that's 3 of the 4 cars now involved in incidents on track today. That's an insane amount.
That's also 2 of the full tilt drivers involved in the same incident, Fritz and Selby both. Another problem for a limitless car, that is Carl Pooler in the middle of that. And it was nearly 3 full tilt drivers in the same crash with Jaeger right behind all of that. That was a great catch by him not to be involved.
Lucky performance, lucky break of the day?
Possibly. Let's watch it back. He was not far back. I mean, you see Pooler and Barnes both involved in the crash. It all starts up and they start wrecking every which way.
Look at that.
And they just kind of got out of his way.
And hearing from race control, Osmer and Maddox will both be penalized for the incident that involved them chain reacting into the entirety of what that wreck was. And
there's the choose.
That as well. See the choose. Didn't even split amongst the top 5, top 6.
That's an interesting choice from race control. Basically, what that tells me, Zach, is race control has deemed it a racing incident between 2 drivers, but the penalty has to go to somebody. In this case, they're going to share the penalty. Maddox and Osmer both. They traded paint off the corner. I think Maddox got loose first and up the racetrack, but then Osmer kind of bullied back down. They're going to have to pit from the top 10 to serve that penalty. That's going to be tricky.
Oh, it's going to be a little bit more than tricky. They're going to have to try to get single file onto the bottom and work themselves into the pit lane.
Well, under this yellow, I want to thank our partners with the series, of course. Brendan Maddox, I promised you I'd get the Maddox M on here. I forgot to do it last night. So I will take full responsibility, but I want to give a shout out to Maddox Graphics, a big part of the BRB Racing League. They will be on this graphic moving forward alongside the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Idealise, Sundance Pizza, and Performance Food Group. Green flag back in the air in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. We're back racing at Texas. Josh Parent out wide. That got a little scary. 1 car down low. That's Maddox. He's getting out of the way now. Osmer will have to do the same. I think he can wait a lap if he wants to, but you may as well take the penalty now, and there he goes. He's going to slow down in front of the field.
Tight.
That got really hairy, but he will get down to the pit lane, and where is the 23 car? There is Maddox. He comes around to the corner.
Normally, you have 3 laps to serve it. That is the rule. 3 laps to serve the black flag. Now, back to racing. Brandvold tags the wall again. He seems to love that outside wall off of turn number 2. Josh Parent down to the bottom, looking to take advantage of Brandvold losing out of that momentum. But it's all Camper. Sutherland, Johnny Wood Jr., they're out in front. Not in that order. Camper, Wood, Sutherland, that's your top 3. Heath, Brandvold, Parent, Stallings, Jaeger, Renner, and Patrick Hernandez inside the top 10. Scott Fritz right on the outside looking in with Jamie Ford and Christian Barnes right behind him.
Up the racetrack, Renner in the wall off of turn number 2. He's going to fall back behind Hernandez and Fritz, it looks like, into the 3rd corner. Barnes is there. Fritz has got a lot of right front damage, and there were not many takers under that last yellow. Carl Pooler, one of them. Robert Moyer, another. Matthew Selby, another. But not many takers, certainly not from the front of the field. Fritz stayed out. He's taking his chances with that damage.
Well, I can see the attrition that he's got going on because he's in contention for stage points. But, I don't know, Andrew. He's still got about 20 or so laps to have to make it to the end of the stage. To the inside, though, Josh Parent on Dustin Stallings.
What a catch out of the 55 and a spin now out of the 42. Caution on the way, maybe. Wingerton, Pooler, no yellow. There it is.
Caution's out. Gotta wonder, did Josh just stick it in there? Did Brandvold come down the racetrack?
We're going to look back at it. Watch the 55, the Duracell Toyota Camry. Over at Spirit Racing, making a comeback drive from Season 2. Parent on the inside, Brandvold. Oh, Parent got in there. That's on Josh.
Yeah. just stuck it in there a little bit too much. The hole was there, and then it just started closing. But that wasn't the cause of the caution.
I'm going to argue there.
It resulted in the chain reaction, but it wasn't the immediate. Well, no. That was pretty much the immediate cause right there. Because there goes Brandvold going around. Jaeger gets piled into by Renner, trying to avoid the wreck. They're still going around, still going, and then back behind there, Cameron Gilmore. Who did he get into back there? That looked like Carl Pooler.
So Pooler got hit, but it was Gilmore getting into Van Wingerden. A couple of Spirit Racing teammates making contact off of turn number 4 here, and they will end up hitting Carl Pooler, who ends up going for a slide and a spin. As a result of all of this, there you see the 1 get hit by the 10. They go sliding down through the grass. Maybe that's what causes the caution, but really, you have to go back to the reason that they were avoiding in the first place. And I hate to say it, but Josh Parent ran over the 55 car a little bit, and maybe not ran over him, but certainly got into the 55 and caused that caution.
That it did.
Not a great start to the season. There you see it. And this means all 3 Spirit Racing cars are involved in the same crash here off of turn 4. There's Jaeger down to the grass.
When was the last time you saw a whole team get involved in one specific incident?
Oh, I'm sure it's happened before on Pit Stop TV, probably within the last year. We want to watch this replay back. Zachary King helped us out for the North American Racing League at Daytona last Thursday. Mason Houseman unable to make it. Zach broadcasted that event from his cell phone. Never thought I'd be saying that. But here goes King. He's going to dive to the grass to miss all of this. And just hangs on.
Didn't hit pit lane. No black flag. Oh, never mind. Wait, no, that was the timing line.
I think he made it.
Should be good. Hey, should be good. Not seeing a black flag on timing and scoring.
So out front, the field is getting reset and ready to go. About halfway through stage number 2.
And working on this restart, Andrew, big thing. Josh Parent still hanging up on the outside line. No action from race control as of right now. They have not said anything. They haven't commented on it. I think Rev is still just trying to review. It might be a bit of a tough call with how everything transpired, but it's even got Josh Parent actually communicating to race control, trying to figure out what the call is so he knows how to serve it.
See Renner there as well. A couple of teammates side by side. How about Jamie Plord working in the top 10 here for this restart, along with Jared Hughes, as here we go, back into the Geico restart zone. One more time, green flag back in the air, a chain reaction, slowing the bottom side down, and they're going to crash again in the back. That's Stockero going for a spin.
Saw Brandvold didn't get going, and it started chaining behind him.
No caution.
Now he's in the grass. We stay green. Keep on rolling. Keep on trucking. Single file up in the front. And we did get the call from race control in regards to caution. They will be reviewing it post-race, deciding on what to make of it, because they said it was, quote-unquote, too close to call on that one. 3 wide going into 1.
That's Barnes, that's Stallings, and that's Hernandez 3 wide into turns 1 and 2 with Plord right behind Stallings down into Hernandez. They almost go 4 wide for a moment. They figure it out. Hernandez dives into the corner and will take that spot away from Stallings, maybe even from Barnes. Wow, this 91 car is looking good for no sponsors.
Yeah, but look who else is in the top 10. Jamie Plord, that's one guy we have not seen in the top 10 all day so far. He's up here running with these guys, trying to take some spots away, get some points. Look at Sutherland to the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. They're fighting it out for the second spot. Dakota Camper starting to run away with it. He's gone out to about a half a second of the lead, and we've still got 15, 16 laps at the line in the stage. for anything to happen. We've already seen more cautions in this stage than we've seen really all race.
Oh, a squeeze there. Hernandez trying to get down to the bottom lane, but Stallings is down there. Barnes caught up top. And look at Plord dive down to the inside of that 38 car. He's trying to move forward. He's trying to gain some spots here at the back end of stage number 2 into the wall. Renner grabs it just a little bit. And he's got the final spot currently in the top 10 over Jared Hughes and Coulter Clark. Coulter Clark, by the way, I know I said Caden Perkins, his teammate, might have had the best paint scheme on the racetrack, but I will never get over that beautiful Pit Stop TV 54 car, Maddox Graphics. This is your shout out. This is a beautiful Toyota Camry. He's going to get passed up on the outside maybe by Dylan Yeager, but I got to say, that 54 is brilliant. Three wide now with Yeager, Renner, and Clark. Yeager goes through the middle. Renner's falling back. He's got some damage. And out ahead, it is all Dakota Camper leading the way over Isaiah Sutherland and Johnny Wood Jr. And this could be a Southern Excitement Racing kind of day here at Texas. They won Stage 1 through Ronnie Osmer. They're leading here in Stage 2 through Dakota Camper. And they've got an affiliate right behind them. That, of course, being Isaiah Sutherland as a cautions out, and it's Steven Borbell, the 2-car.
Oh, no.
They're still crashing. Fritz nailed the wall there.
Oh, that's some heavy front-end damage on that number 2 car. And one thing I was just about to comment on, Andrew, is a lot of these guys in the top 10 started way outside the top 10. Steven Borbell himself, he started quite a bit further down the running order, actually. He started in the 16th spot.
Not that far down, but down the order for sure.
I was going off of my previous point there for a moment, comparing it into something else.
Well, this is not going to be a good look for car number 2. He was racing there with Zachary King, and King went by on the inside, but watch the 23 entering stage right. Down to turn 3 here. Maddox wants the inside. Borbell left it open. And then kind of comes back down as Maddox is entering, and that's a really tough call between a couple of veterans here of the series.
Oh, man, you saw Fritz get tipped right there into the wall. Now, I really wonder how race control is going to do this, because if they result the fault, that's a weird way to say it, if they put the fault on Maddox, then that would be his second incident. Would that not be a DQ?
I don't know that it would be a DQ. I forget the order. I think they get 2 and then a DQ. That'd be kind of cutthroat to only allow 2 incidents, then you're out of the race. But this is a really close one. I don't envy Rev. This is... And, you know, maybe this is where he opts to call it a racing incident, because you've got 2 guys going for the same piece of racetrack, and Maddox is tiptoeing, trying to get to the inside. He shows some care trying to get there, and then the 2 maybe squeezes down, and there might have even been some netco between them.
It's full of possible. Watch that top side. There you see Fritz get into the wall. That was very close. Riding on board with Cameron Carden. Fritz is slowing down a little bit, checking up in the corner. Oh, I don't know about that one, Andrew.
Let's watch it one more time here, Carden and Fritz. That's just 2 guys trying to get by a crash.
It's a late move there by Fritz to make it all the way up to the top. Carden didn't really have anywhere to go. Could have potentially eased up a little bit more, potentially not. It's hard to say.
I'll go back to the partners here of the BRB Racing League Buttkicker Cup Series, and of course, I'm going to call myself out. we were supposed to get Maddox Graphics on here. It's been a crazy week, and I want to apologize to Maddox Graphics for not having their logo present on this graphic, but that will change for Iowa and beyond. Regardless, we also want to give a big thank you to the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideally, Sundance Pizza, and Performance Food Group. Alongside our partners here at Pitstop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. What are you hearing from Rev here, Zach?
I actually had a lot of trouble hearing him there, so I'm directly asking him what was said in regards to the incident. I believe he's calling it a racing deal. I'm not seeing any black flags because I heard that the two moved down. That's all I heard. So I will get back to you once I have more from race control.
Well, here we go. Restart zone again, and we are racing with 10 laps to go in stage 2. 9 laps to go in stage 2. Couple of cars grabbed the wall out of turn 2. That's been the regular here today. It'll be 8 laps to go this next time by in stage number 2. Johnny Wood Jr., a bobble on the inside. Sutherland works around the outside, and he's going to bring Heath and Hernandez.
Hearing from race control, looks like the incident was a netcode incident, so no driver's going to be deemed at fault for that one. They're going to let him race on, but obviously the non-benefactor of the bunch is going to be the doorbell out of that. Cars all over the track. Everything just shifting all over the place, Andrew, as we get closer and closer to the end of the stage. The fan cam. Oh boy, I love the fan cam.
Some really good looks here from the fan cam at Texas Motor Speedway, right down alongside the wall. What a shot as the cars rip by at 180 miles an hour. Some really high speeds, and we can ride on board with one of these guys. Let's pick a car out of the group. Let's go Brandvold. He's trying to get into the top 10, back into the group here along with Clark and Maddox, and watch the telemetry bottom right of your screen as we enter the back end of stage 2. 170 miles per hour through the corner, and he's going to get up in excess of 190 miles per hour by turn number 1. 185 at the line, 191 there when he lifts for turn 1.
And he went into the corner before he started lifting too, so you can tell just how much these drivers.
One on the wall, it's Yeager, I think.
That was rough stuff right there. And the leaders are catching out of Buzzio to put him a lap down as they're 3 wide, right behind. 5 to go in the stage. Dakota Camper still leading over Sutherland. Johnny Wood Jr., Kyle Heath, Dustin Stallings, Christian Barnes, Yeager, Hernandez, Lord, and Maddox. Your top 10. Brendan Maddox is starting to mount the charge back inside this top 10.
That's a big comeback drive from Maddox after being penalized early in the stage, along with Ronnie Osmer. If we look for the 15 car, the stage 1 winner has recovered only to, I'm still looking for him, he's in 31st. And that's a big dive out of the 24 of Isaiah Sutherland, right to the inside of the 3 car. We're so used to, from decades past, seeing the 3 and 24 go at it on any speedway in NASCAR, but throw in the 75 and you've got a party here. This is going to be a fun end to stage number 2. Johnny Wood Jr. round the outside of Sutherland.
Hey, don't forget Kyle Heath has a Darrell Waltrip inspired team. So that adds a little bit of fun to it as we look on from the top down. That 24 car hanging on that white line, trying to get around Johnny Wood Jr. Same problem he was having trying to pass Matthew Selby earlier on.
Oh, he's going to turn him! What a catch from Johnny Wood Jr. Never mind! Oh. And stage 2 is complete. Brandvold! Oh, no.
And Skinner gets turned around on the bottom.
Stage 2 will go complete with the 3 car out front. That's Dakota Camper. There he is. He'll win the stage. Southern Excitement Racing owns the stages here in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. But unfortunately, I think that 75 is done, and I think the 24 is going to be serving a penalty after the caution.
Stephen Borabell, Zachary Brandvold, Johnny Wood Jr., all with pit for repair flags. Now, the big thing that I'm looking at is where these guys are going to line up based on the caution flag. Dakota Camper was out in front. Sutherland, Kyle Heath, Dustin Stallings, Dylan Yeager, Brendan Maddox, Christian Barnes, Danny Ford, Patrick Hernandez, and Colton Clark are your top 10 after they cross the line.
That is a really big hit. That's about the same kind of hit as we saw for Matthew Corder on the opening run. And Johnny is going to be done for the day. So close to a whole bunch of stage points, too.
Johnny was having a great run. One of the best cars out here, probably all so far throughout the day.
Let's see.
The same thing that Sutherland and Selby were going at earlier. I can't tell if Johnny just tried to clear.
That's a really difficult call. And then you have the kind of secondary incident as these guys were trying to miss it, including Braxton Skinner, Gray Walker, and some others. Walker and his new number, he's piloting the 18 this season. Whoa, Jason Bottoms dove to the inside and shoved the 33 out of the way.
That checked him up, though. That gave some space.
Yeah, but did it help them at all? There's Brandvold into turn 3. He's going to end up being a part of this. We know that.
There's
really nowhere to go. And then Skinner gets into his teammate Walker, and they go for a spin.
Wow. He did not get any damage. I would nominate that for lucky performance, lucky break of the day.
That was a good one for sure. One more look at it. Braxton Skinner. This is the second week in a row that somebody has hit the 18, checking up for a crash. And we've got pit stops underway, and some cars are staying out. Actually, pit stops are no longer underway. Pit stops have been completed, and we missed our opportunity, so we have to get Dakota Camper under a later caution. Dakota, if you're listening, we're going to dial you up later. We had too many replays to go over there. That's the bane of my existence, quickie yellows. I know it helps the race, but man, does it suck for us, because we get less of a chance to go over the crash and still interview drivers. It is what it is. It's racing. But Zach King and Dan Salcaro will stay out. Dakota Camper leads the race off the pit lane. And we'll re-rack them and restack them and go back at it now. Into stage 3 to the end of the race. Here we go. Green flag in the air. We're racing once again at the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. And it's already 3 wide from row 2 on back.
That was dicey right there. The 62 jumped way out of line. He's staying up on the high side, letting these guys go.
Gotta wonder why you would stay out if you're just gonna pull to the outside like that. Moyer in the wall, crashing up front. Zach King in front of the field.
Everyone's piling in. Kyle Heath piles in.
No caution. They're all just gonna get back on the banking and keep going. Unbelievable.
Nick Renner has dropped out of the race due to packet loss, and now everything is shaken up all throughout the field. Kyle Heath has got damage. Brandvold's got damage. Well, that was actually the previous caution. Excuse me. Looking at my timing and scoring doesn't always treat me right.
Let's just look at what's happening ahead. Yeager and Barnes battle for the race lead with Hernandez in third. Yeager, I think, was a part of that incident with King. Once these guys figure things out this lap, we have to go back and see what happened to cause that. But Barnes to the outside. Now, that's King's teammate trying to go for the race lead. Is he to get it here in 1 and 2? Maybe, possibly. Not quite yet. Let's go back and see what happened.
Yeah, he's hanging up there, keeping an eye on it as we roll back into the replay, Andrew.
Watch the 51. Zach King lead us to the green. Looks fine. Into turn 1. He's the first car in line, leading the race. Stayed out on older tires. Slow off of turn 2. And just tried to close up on Camper and put the 3 in the wall. That was just a late move from Gang. You have to be more decisive than that out front of the field. And
Parent
everybody went by.
See the gaggle of cars getting back into it, trying to move around the slow cars. Josh Parent, like I said, he barely missed Kyle Heath. He sees Sutherland have to scramble. He just checks up. Heath runs into the back of King, nowhere to go. Parent moves around.
One more look, because I'm nominating Patrick Hernandez for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day. Watch this onboard. Right behind Christian Barnes and Isaiah Sutherland. Barnes goes through the lead, but look at that!
Oh, boy.
Right on by the swirling and locked up 51 of Zach King. Hernandez got no piece of it and goes through to third place and is still in third place as we run. Stockero, by the way, now one lap down in the pit lane, and Barnes, your race leader, has just gone fastest.
That is insane. I honestly wanted to see how close Josh Parent got to Kyle Heath, but probably about the same as what Hernandez was. Sutherland did a great job. He just checked up, let them get down the racetrack, kind of like, you know, how they say Dover's a self-cleaning racetrack and it just goes down to the bottom. And Sutherland just checked up, let him go, and he just went on by.
Bit of a battle outside the top 10. Jason Bottoms having one of his best days ever in the BRB Racing League. He drives up to 12th spot, passing Evan Patinko. He gets in line now behind Jamie Plord and has a move squared up for turn 3. Jason Bottoms right down low to the bottom side of turn number 3, and the 95 now moves into 11th spot, so he is moving forward. Bottoms fan club rejoice. He's nearly at the top 10 as he chases down the Pit Stop TV Toyota Camry of Coulter Clark. But up ahead of these guys, Stallings, Camper, Sutherland. You would think this would be a perfect top 3, but they're 4th, 5th, and 6th as they chase down Barnes, Yeager, and Hernandez.
Saw Camper attack the wall right there. Stockero is coming out of the pit lane. Look at Camper. He's trying a higher line there, Andrew. And I don't know about the higher line right now. Everyone's kind of been running that white line. You saw Sutherland right behind him with Parent right on his back bumper. They were pretty hugging that white line. You saw everyone behind them were sticking to the white line as well. So I don't know. I saw a lot of the guys that were running towards the top of the board in qualifying too. They were running about half a fender off of that white line, just finding some grip there. You see Jason Bottoms going around the outside line. There are a lot of fast lines here in Texas.
Bottoms look to the outside that time of Jared Hughes. Now looks down low for turn 1, but makes no move. Will actually get into the back of Hughes and get. Oh, wow. What a catch out of Jared Hughes. He just hangs on to the race car, but they're not done yet. 3 wide of turn 3. Clark on the inside. Hughes in the middle. Patinko down low. Patinko makes a comeback. He dives the inside of Hughes and nearly makes that pass complete through 3 and 4.
Shelby gets a 2 for 1 around the outside line, carries that momentum around to catch a few spots off of turn number 4. Now he's running in the 11th spot, or excuse me, the 12th spot. Holman Clark 11th. Jason Bottoms inside that top 10 now. Clark hits the wall. That's a big impact on that right-hand side. You see Patinko still the inside. Selby looks low. Can't quite get there. He's going to have to fall in line. Actually, just tip the apron right there, wash up the racetrack. But he'll stay with Coulter Clark for now. Everyone's just moving around at the moment. We are about to pass lap 100 here pretty soon. So not too much longer left in this race, Andrew. You got to start thinking about how you're going to set your strategy up. A lot of guys out here have damage right now. They can't necessarily fix that damage under a green flag stop.
No, you can't. You just got to stick with it at this point unless we get a caution. It's Clark and Bottoms fight here for the 10th spot. Some battling right behind them with Cody Dorsey and others. I think they're trying to lap the 07 Josh Anderson. Anderson's 17 laps down. He's the only lapped car that is multiple laps down and still running, other than Dan Stockero, who runs in 31st. Oh my gosh, this has got to be the craziest intermediate race I've ever seen this league put on. 40 cars showed up today, and it has been crazy since the drop of the green. Out front, it's all Christian Barnes in that number 27 car. He won Stage 1 at Daytona a week ago. By virtue of that melee on the backstretch, he found himself out front here in Stage number 3. And Zach, if this race, which it would be against the odds, but if this race goes green, who is going to be able to run him down?
Nobody at this rate. You got to think about how many drivers inside the top 10 right now actually have damage that are hindering their performance. I believe Yeager's got damage, Camper's got damage, Parent has damage, Maddox has damage, Clark has damage. I think Jamie Plord has a little bit of damage as well. Don't quote me on that one. But there are a lot of cars inside the top 10 that are just losing time and time. You got Hernandez is 2 seconds back already, and then you've got Camper, who's the last car inside the top 5. He's 5 seconds back, so a 3-second spread between 2nd and 5th. Parents a few further tenths behind in the 6th spot. Sutherland and Maddox are right there with him, and then Coulter Clark is another 6 seconds back with Plord behind him.
And there are battles all over the racetrack. We are getting a little bit more single file than we have been all day. And while these guys do so, it's worth going through the drivers that are out of the race now. Josh Anderson is the last car in the race. He's 32nd. He has just passed Nick Renner for 32nd spot. Renner falls down to 33rd. Brandvold's out of the race at the moment. He is 34th. Wood and Borbell, 35th and 36th. Buzzio, 37th. Jensen, 38th. Perkins, 39th, and Quarter, 40th. This is another terrible start. Not even a terrible start, a terrible continuation of the season for Borbell and Buzzio, who each finished outside of the top 30 at Daytona.
They're both just having incident. Think about Buzzio. Buzzio never even saw the green flag at Daytona. Never even got to take the green flag. And he tried to get back in, couldn't get it back to where he needed to be, and just pretty much sat out the whole race. Now you see Camper falling back, losing ground to Sutherland. Sutherland got by Parent to take over position number 6. Now Parent trying to go down the inside of Dakota. Camper to take the 6th spot back. Lost it to Sutherland, trying to get it back on Camper. You see Brendan Maddox is coming into the fold, so is Coulter Clark. Contact between the 90 and the 30. They'll get single filed out. Josh Parent takes over 6th spot once again. Now Brendan Maddox looking on. Down to the low. Oh, they're going around Scott Fritz. That's why they're mixing up right now.
Maddox dives the inside of Camper. Fritz gets out of the way. Back to your point on Adam Buzzio. I believe the 5 car has seen exactly 1 lap of competitive racing so far in season number 4, and that was the opening lap before he had problems on lap 2 and dropped out from contention. Now working lap 100. Barnes has a 2.2 second lead. There he is in that 27 car, and this could be a huge story to open up the season. Yeager sits in 2nd. Hernandez in 3rd. Stallings back and forth. He's gotten away from Sutherland, who's gotten away from Parent and Maddox, and that's where the battle begins. From Parent in 6th on back through the rest of the field.
How about Hernandez, though? We talked about him being up in the points right now and having a good run. He was having a lot of struggling momentum last season. He's running unsponsored right now. He just pretty much getting caught up in a wreck every single week that we saw him on the broadcast, and finishing outside the top 30 most of the time. Now he is here, showing backing up a consistent run from a super speedway, no doubt. He's trying to show that he can be competitive, and he can come out here and run and have good results, and he's looking on to take that 2nd spot away as Barnes' lead is actually starting to tick down.
Hernandez did have 2nd for a few moments earlier, but Yeager got back by him. And yeah, Barnes has lost some time the last couple of laps, from 2.2 or 2.3 seconds down to 1.6 now. The 27 is all of a sudden losing a lot of time to Yeager in the 42. We could have a battle for the race win shaping up soon. Meanwhile, for 6th, it's Maddox now ahead of Parent, then Patinko in that 81 car, then Camper and Clark, and down low Patinko makes the move here on Josh Parent into turn 1.
Parent continues to drop spots. He's got to be that front end damage. He lost the spot to Sutherland, lost it to Maddox, might lose it to Patinko here. Looks like Coulter Clark's looking to make a move on Dakota Camper here, probably for the next couple of laps with how close together they are. See them all running the middle line. Nobody's really running that bottom line at the moment. Patinko shifts that car lower to get a good run. He's going to get clear of that 90 car and put himself up in position. That's another driver we haven't talked too much about today, Patinko. We've seen a lot of good speed out of him lately. We've seen him be running inside the top 10 a lot more consistently. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The results don't always show the speed that car has. He's been there throughout the course of the race. He doesn't have that, what's that word I'm looking for, that closer type deal to him at the moment. But he's working on it, Andrew, and I'm sure he's going to be winning some races here pretty soon.
Side by side now, Carl Buehler and Cody Dorsey. This for 13th position. Up ahead, you see the 54 and 98 battling. That's Clark and Hughes.
Contact.
Buehler got into Selby. Everybody hangs on to the race cars. Whoa, down the racetrack big time goes the 3 of Camper, and he's losing a lot of time as well. He's going to fall back outside the top 10 now.
Dicey.
Clark comes back down the racetrack and closes the door on the 3-car. Hughes works into the top 10. What a crazy day here at Texas. Nothing so far is shaped up the way I expected, and we've still got 60 laps to go. That last time by the flag stand poured out of shape. He's going to hang on. Here comes Hughes on Perrin.
Big move down to the inside on the back straightaway. Josh is pretty much going to let him have it, running that middle line. Just falling ever so further back. He's been having a great run inside the top 10, and now he's just dropping down the running order. Colton Clark next up, get a position on that 90 car out of the Whiplash Racing group. So now you've got all of these guys that are just moving around throughout the back of the pack and having so much trouble. Now they're all starting to come to the front. Dakota Camper continues to fall back as well. He's losing a lot of time after that front end damage is really starting to affect him over the course of the run. Carl Pooler, he got some front end damage earlier on in this race. Now he's moving forward. Oh, I say that, he's going through the grass.
Through the grass and back on the racetrack comes Carl Pooler. Just hangs on. What a catch from driver 71. He gets back on the racetrack in the 15th spot. And problems for Sutherland maybe as he just dropped out of the race. As Yeager has caught Barnes. Here we go for the race lead.
Checking on Sutherland. As Yeager has completely passed Barnes for the race lead.
Stallings ran down Hernandez and passed him. Battle for the race lead between Barnes and Yeager. And they're catching Zachary King, who's a lap down. Yeager goes by. Barnes is going to give it to him. All while Sutherland's connection spazzes out. King comes back down right in front of the leader. Come on, buddy.
Talk about it, though. There's some blocking going on out of turn 3. Dakota Camper's trying to hang on for dear life back there, as still so many different things are going on at the front of the field. Yeager fully clear. Stallings is still chasing him down. They're lapping Zachary King. I think that's Stockero coming out of the pits right there. They just passed up Scott Fritz. Hernandez dropping further down towards Sutherland. Sutherland will pass him for 4th here pretty soon. Look at the gaggle, Andrew. This is what I was talking about. Look at Camper blocking all the way down to the bottom.
Dorsey blinking, Selby down low. Gray Walker around the outside for 11th spot. Camper in the middle. Ricochet, Puller in the wall. And Buzzio's in this. Anderson's in this. They're both many laps down. Buzzio is 37 laps behind the leaders, and he is in the midst of all of this. If I were him, I'd back right out.
Well, he's on fresher tires compared to the rest of them, so he's trying to go right around and see what positions he can get. But this can't last, Andrew. These guys might end up wrecking with how much they're racing, how hard they're going at it, trying to find some speed. As Walker moves himself inside of the top 10, moves Parent out. Now, here comes Jamie Ford to try and make a move. Selby right behind him. All up front, though, Dustin Stallings. He's losing ground to Yeager, but he's closing in on Barnes for 2nd. We might see pit stops here pretty soon, too.
These drivers have run 32 laps so far. Let's see, they have about 50 to go. We'll probably see another 10 to 15 laps before pit stops, which means Stallings has plenty of time. Stallings has plenty of time to run down these two out ahead. Of course, he won last week at Daytona by virtue of a crazy finish. A natural green-white checker had sent the double aught to victory lane. Now he's running down 2nd place Christian Barnes and trying to get up to Yeager last lap. Yeager and Stallings were almost even. A .239 to a .296 Yeager to Stallings. Let's see what it is this lap as Stallings closes in here on Barnes. That lap, Yeager was slower than Stallings by 5/1000ths of a second. They are near identical in speed right now, but a caution is out. Everything's going to change. Dakota Camper in trouble, I think. Carl Pooler as well. Cody Dorsey against the wall.
Oh.
It was that gaggle we were watching. It had everything of a wreck written all over it. Van Wingerden involved, Dyer involved. Buzzio, I think, got away. But Cody Dorsey seems to have gotten the worst of it. And finally, we can breathe.
I say finally, we still got racing left to go.
So Clark checked up, Parent went low and blocked the 90. That was a choice.
That was egregious.
Selby up top of 3 wide with Pooler and Parent and Dorsey down low. Dorsey just came up into Parent, and that is a 4th Whiplash racing car involved in a crash today. Oh my gosh, the 90 took a big, big piece of that. And he was not alone. The 71 took a big piece of that. That, of course, is Pooler. I thought Dorsey got the worst. I might have been mistaken. He came up and just into Selby. Oh my gosh. Van Wingerden, Dyer. Let's ride on board with Carl Pooler. The Limitless Esports, number 71, cannot escape bad luck this season or last season. Missed the chase in season number 3. And here's what happens off of turn 4. Blindsided.
It's a heavy impact there for Pooler. So many cars involved in this one, and so many good cars involved in this one.
Watch the camo number 1. That's Van Wingerden. The red and white 35. That is Dyer. They each tried to miss it and got into the 90 of Parent. Van Wingerden down through the pit lane. Dyer as well. Oh boy. And Yeager will win the race off of pit lane. And Zach, all of that craziness, we still have to talk to stage 2 winner Dakota Camper. Let's dial up driver number 3. With all of the replays earlier under that stage 2 ending caution, we couldn't talk to driver number 3 because there was just too much happening. But now with a little bit of extra added to the story here, Dakota, a lot just happened to kick off stage 3. How is that 3 car now?
Yeah, we got about 3.5 minutes worth of damage. We got about 45 seconds of it there, so about two something left. And the car is very tight. I don't know. I got driven into the wall by the 51, so just trying to get by. He had old tires. I was trying to get by on the outside, and he just decided to try and block, but I was right there. So, yeah, I think he cost me a win. I really feel like I had a shot at winning this thing.
I'm not going to disagree. It was shaping up to be a Southern Excitement Racing kind of day. Of course, Ronnie got the first stage, you got the second stage. How can you build off of this, though, and move forward this season?
Yeah, I really need the stage points. I wrecked out last week, only got 4 points, so I've already banked 18 points. So just keep running fast. These mile and a half are my bread and butter, so...
Well, I see the green is out. We'll get you back to it.
Thank you.
That's Dakota Camper as the field goes back green. Dylan Yeager with the race lead. Let's get these graphics out of the way and get back to it. Dustin Stallings a little bit slow on the top of turn 2. And we are back racing in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. Carden in the wall. Moyer and Skinner go low. We're racing to turn 3. And Barnes is going to tip the double lot. Hernandez in the wall hard. The 91 just crushed the outside wall.
Way up the racetrack he goes. He's going to be falling down the running order. That's a half the amount of right front damage on that 91 car.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Is it broke?
I think close. It's bent for sure.
So many bumps in turn 1. It looked like it was broke there for a second. But it looks like he'll keep on rolling.
Well, let's see what happened there. Off the 4th corner to complete that first lap, getting back green. That's Barnes down low. He's going to squeeze the inside of Stallings, and nowhere for Hernandez to go. Was shaping up to be a really good day, and it's all out the window. Richard Wolsifer going fastest that lap as Dylan Yeager leads here at Texas. This has really been a wild day. From Southern Excitement Racing and Ronnie Osmer controlling stage 1, to then Dakota Camper taking over when Osmer got penalized. Now it's full tilt Sim Sports and Dylan Yeager out front with Christian Barnes in second. And look at Jamie Plordzak, he's third and going for second.
best way to describe today is that there has been no clear-cut driver that has been out in front and dominating most of the day. This is kind of what people want to see when it comes to racing. They don't like seeing one driver go out there and dominate. They like seeing an amalgamation of drivers get out there and shape up and ship out to make things go good in their way. But this has been, so far, all things considered with the cautions as well, a really good race so far. We saw Lucifer go purple there. He's a little bit further down the running order if I'm not mistaken though.
He's running 25th, 13 seconds off the race lead.
Last car on the lead lap too.
Barnes going back behind the 23 car. He has fallen down now to the 8th position. And Ronnie Osmer has made his return to the top 5. He won stage 1. He has raced through all of the calamity and chaos. He's 4th place, chasing down Sutherland as it's Yeager, then Plord, Sutherland, Osmer, and Stallings. And from that affiliation of Southern Excitement and Racers for Christ, they have 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and let me look at the list here. They have 15th with Camper. But the highlights, as Heath is down in 20th, the highlights are once again, they have 3 cars in the top 5, Plord, Sutherland, and Osmer. Move here from Stallings, down to the inside of Osmer. Jinx, you owe me a Coke, bud.
No, that's my line. It took me a second to register that for a minute. I was like, we're thinking on the same wavelength for a minute.
Great minds think alike as we roar closer and closer to 40 to go. That was 41 that time. Osmer falls down into the 5th spot. We'll go on board with car 15 here. Stallings has been fighting tooth and nail. That last run trying to run the leaders down. This run, a bit more of the same.
Look at how close Osmer's getting to that bumper. He could have tipped him around right there and did not. That's some great racing out of the both of them. Stallings, we talked about it, Andrew, trying to back up his win at Daytona, started on the pole, trying to win it from the pole. You know, we should really ask Adam Buzzio or Race Control Rev what the statistic is how long it's been since the driver last won from the pole.
I feel like it's happened a little more than we probably think, just thanks to Mason Houseman, but who knows, as out front, it is a 2-second race lead for car 42. Yeager showed up, and he didn't really run practice, but he ran a big time in qualifying, and while we were doing our intro, I noticed it. I thought maybe he would hang on for pole. Stallings just barely got ahead of him for pole position, but the 42 car has been so fast today. I don't know where this speed is coming from, but he's dropping a Jaeger bomb on the field this evening. He has led now 23 laps, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider just how much we've mixed the lead around this season, let's bring up the race info. 7 lead changes. It has been moved around. I feel like it's been 7 different drivers, too. It has been a crazy day here at Texas.
I just did the math. It's been 6 races. Count them, 6 races, all the way back to last season when a driver last won from the pole. You know who it was?
Mason Houseman.
Johnny Wood Jr.
Oh!
Michigan.
Ah, that'll do it. Well, Stallings moves up the 3rd spot. He's now going to chase down Plord. He moves ahead of Sutherland and Osmer. Brendan Maddox in his home state is trying to go for the top 5 here. Here he goes to the inside of Ronnie. And the Blackberry Dr. Pepper, number 23, will move down low and take over 5th spot for now.
Who still owns a Blackberry? That is so 2010, is it not?
You know that's not Blackberry the phone, right?
Oh, well, that just hit me.
That is a Dr. Pepper flavor.
Oh, wow. my brain's on the fritz. We might be going 3 wide, almost went 3 wide. Sutherland was about to throw a block on Osmer, and he slips right back on by both of them, gets Sutherland and gets Maddox. 2 spots right there. Now they're side by side going into the corner. Brendan Maddox loses that spot again. Sutherland gets right to the bumper, shakes Osmer a little loose. He tips the apron. He's sliding.
Everybody hangs on to it. 3 wide. We go down the backstretch. Gray Walker to the inside of Hughes. Big dive from the 18 car, and he's going to make it stick down underneath Brendan Maddox. Gray Walker just went straight through to 5th.
If Maddox hadn't closed that hole and the 98 of Jared Hughes slipped it in there, that could have been 4 wide almost off the corner. Wouldn't have wanted to see that. Not enough racing room for 4 wide onto the front straightaway. Now you see Jared Hughes back to the inside of Brendan Maddox.
Caution.
Caution on the speedway.
Braxton Skinner around at turn number 2. It looks
Heavy
like
impact right
everybody
there.
will miss him. Maybe not. Oh, Stockero gets into him. And let that be a lesson. Stay predictable. Hold the brakes. I know Braxton was trying to get further out of the way, but when cars are coming up on you, they have committed. And it's better to just hold your brakes and stay where you are until you're completely clear. Let that be a lesson for everybody involved there, as Braxton has a ton of damage.
Yeah, look at that front end. Oh my gosh, the wheel is just bent the opposite direction. Look at the right front. He's turning that car left right now.
He'll bring it down to the pit lane. Or at least try to.
Just over. Yeah, he makes it though. Just over 30 laps to go, Andrew. This sets us up for a straight run to the checkered. No fuel mileage necessary.
Oh. Let's watch that back again. Josh Anderson, and this is an age-old debate of lapped cars racing with lead lap cars. Josh just got into Braxton. I mean, Josh is 17 laps down and just ruined Braxton's day. And you could argue they kind of maybe share blame in the actual incident, but when you figure that Josh Anderson is 17 laps down, not racing those drivers for position, it gets a little harder to blame the 33 for really anything there, as drivers work out of the pit lane. And Zach, it is a 2-tire stop for Texas own Brendan Maddox.
You talked about it earlier. Who was going to be bold with the 2-tire stop? And looks like Brendan Maddox is going to be bold with it right now. It's a short run to the end, Andrew, and I say a short run. 30 laps right now is pretty much a short run. That's a little bit less than what was stage 1 and 2. So they don't have as much time out there, and the left side tires don't wear that much, as Braxton Skinner has taken that car to the garage. He's done for the day. So I'm eager to see how this race turns out. You see the 44, Dryman, the full tilt racing machine. He's on the lead lap, so he's in front now. With Maddox right behind him, they are choosing this time. Scott Fritz stayed out to get a lap back. He is currently 8 laps down.
Dryman, a teammate to Fritz and to Yeager. Yeager will line up behind Dryman on this restart. Maddox will line up on the outside. Port will line up on the outside. And it's Sutherland and Barnes in row 3. Hughes and Clark in row 4. We will have exactly 30 laps to go when we go back green. I want to take a quick look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV before we enter this final era of the race, if you will. Next week, we head out to Iowa Speedway for the BRB Racing League Buttkicker Cup Series. Of course, a continuation here of this evening. We'll go to race 3 at Iowa. Then Michigan for race 4 on May 27th, right after Memorial Day weekend. And then the month of June kicks off with the Le Mans 2.4 for the Major Series. We'll talk more about that later on as we work into the Geico restart zone this time by. Not many cars doubled up, a lot of cars single file, fueling up at the very last second. A big stack up on the restart, but we are back green in the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. Maddox on the outside trying to race to the front. He will take over the race lead. He last won at Rockingham last season. Can he do it again here at Texas?
Down to the bottom, you saw Yeager take the position over. Now Sutherland down to the bottom. They're 3 wide.
Dryman in the wall.
In the wall. He's spinning front straightaway.
Rattel is involved. Plord's run is done.
Well, if the short runs keep up, Andrew, those 2 tires are going to be the most beneficial call of the night.
Just might be that way. Let's see what happened here to the 44. He led the field to the green, bobbled on the inside of turn number 2. And when they come out of turn 4 here, he's trying to hang on to all the track position he can, but he runs out of room and was not clear to the outside and got up into Jamie Plord here. Watch this. Off of turn 4. Just did not give Jamie enough room, and that's a pretty big hit to the outside wall. That also collects the 6 of Andrew Rattel.
That was such a slow hit there for Rattel. You got to feel for the man because he saw them spinning and he had nowhere else to go. He was just trying to get clear. He's up on the high side, and I've always said, Andrew, you got to be down on the bottom because that's where it gives you the most availability to avoid the wreck. He turned, he went to miss it and just got clipped around. Did a good job of locking it down, though. Not a lot of damage on that car. So that could have been a bigger hit for him, and if we hadn't already nominated a bunch of people, I'd nominate him for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day.
Yeah, we've talked a lot in the past about minimizing when bad things happen. And that's exactly what Andrew did there. He minimized a very bad thing happening, cut the wheel left pretty quick, and just about missed the spinning 44. And then even when he was facing the outside wall, did a really good job of locking the car down and not hitting the wall very hard. So props there to Andrew Rattel, rookie here in the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. This has been a crazy, crazy race. More cars in the pit lane, including but not limited to Dakota Camper, Cameron Gilmore, Sam Dyer, Kyle Heath, and others. Hernandez is down here. Plord is down here. Zachary King is down here. Van Wingerden just got a free pass and is now from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. So props there.
Skinner's 4 laps down, but he's out of the race. Fritz is still 8 laps down. Carl Pooler 14, Stockero 16, Josh Anderson 17. Cody Dorsey is 18 laps down, Joshua Parent 22. And then Adam Buzzio is still in this race. He's gotten up to 33rd, 36 laps down right now.
He's down to the grass, but he's still in the race, yes. Let's take one more look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV, because I want to talk about what's upcoming on June 1st. Zach.
Majors.
Yes, we covered the Majors 24 last year, 2024. We plan to be doing the same thing here this year in 2025, but we're also covering the full Major Series this season, and that includes races of all kinds. We started out at Daytona with IMSA classes on the road course, then we continued on at Daytona with the NASCAR 1987 Cup cars, then it was out to Road America with GT3 machinery, then it was the World 600 at Charlotte with Gen 4 Cup cars, then last race, it was the Indy 500, the Speedway 500, with the IndyCar at Indianapolis, as you can figure. And then, next up, it's round 6 to bring us to the halfway mark of that season. We've got Le Mans classes at Le Mans, the way it's been intended. But here we go, back to the restart zone. The U.S. Aviation Academy 250 back underway. Maddox with a big restart. On board with Isaiah Sutherland, Yeager with a big run down to turn 3. Side by side for second place behind the 2 tires in that 23 car. What can Yeager do on the outside?
Maddox is making it work right now on those 2 tires. I'm pretty impressed, but he's not driving away. That's the big thing. There's still a lot of racing left. 20 laps, 25 laps is a lot of racing, all things considered sometimes, Andrew. Especially if you're running short tracks.
Well, that's what he needed. Yeager got held up.
It is. Sutherland gets clear. Barnes to the bottom.
Here comes Hughes on the outside of Barnes. We have not seen much of Jared Hughes yet today. He's been slowly climbing through the top field, or the top half of the field.
Look at Osmer. He's looking around back there as well.
3 wide with Jason Bottoms way up there. He's in the wall.
Oh, puff of smoke, somebody got loose as well. Look at Osmer blocking down to the bottom, right behind Stallings. Coulter Clark looking around the outside. Osmer's got the hole. Stallings slipped up. That 15 looking to the bottom. Oh my goodness, that was Hughes getting the outside wall. They're 3 wide on the front straightaway. Osborne to the bottom, Clark on the top, Stallings in the middle. That 15's coming back to life, Andrew, and look at Richard Wolsifer. He's back in the top 10 with Grant Walker behind him.
Clark bobbled there in the corner. He checks up and falls back now to the 8th spot. He tries to block Wolsifer, no dice. Wolsifer moves to the inside for 9th spot. Selby in the top 10, Walker 11th, and Rattel in 12th. But out ahead, we cannot lose sight of the race leaders. Maddox in the 23 leads. Sutherland in that 24 car, he's second. Flip that around, you got the 42 of Yeager in third. Barnes in 27 and fourth. And then look at Stallings drifting off the corner, hangs on to the race car. What a catch.
Oh my gosh, that was a big save by Dustin Stallings. What a catch by that double I. He keeps it rolling. And does he keep it in the top 10? No, he does not. He's a little bit further outside the top 10. But he's still rolling. And we're still green. But Sutherland continues to put it in. Maddox needs them to dice it up again. He needs them to get side by side, get fighting again, burn those tires up, and let this 2-tire call work. It's 20 laps to go this time by Andrew. And if Maddox makes this call work, he is definitely my driver of the day.
I was just going to bring it up, Zach. I don't know how we're going to do it with all the craziness that's been going on today, but we've got to do it. Driver of the day conversation. I'll let you go first and get your 2 out of the way, and then I'll take my 2.
Gotta go with Brendan Maddox. Love the call out of this 23. Love him trying to make it work. He leaves a little bit on the bottom right now, and Sutherland tries to close that hole, but it looks like Maddox is going to hang on to it at the moment. So he's going to be my first pick, and I think second pick, probably going to go to Ronnie Osmer. He won stage 1, he fell way back, and he's clawed his way back up here. He's back up into 6th, and he's trying to chase down this win, potentially going for it as they dice up for the lead. Big block by Maddox. Pass it into the grass. Yeager up onto the top line.
Sutherland down low, contact. Maddox is just going to drift out of turn 2, and here comes Barnes to the inside. What a crazy race this evening. This is absolutely insane. Barnes now trying to challenge for that top spot with Sutherland. Whenever they calm down, I'll make my 2 selections, but right now, all eyes on these 2 out front, Barnes and Sutherland for the race lead at Texas.
Brendan Maddox has fallen way down into 9th. Andrew Rattel, after getting involved in that last caution, he's still up inside the top 10, right in front of Dustin Stallings. Now, the fight for the lead. Barnes, we talked about Daytona. He was one of the big 3 that was leading that race majority of the time, and he was one of the drivers that we talked about for winning that race. He had issues after that stage 1 win that kept him out of contention most of the race, but he was up there towards the end, and here he is again.
Brendan Maddox.
Hood is up. There's some big damage on that 23.
Brendan Maddox effectively out of the race here on lap 149. Let's see what happened to the Dr. Pepper 23 car. Heartbreak and that driver of the day vote. I'll let you get a mulligan, Zach, if you want. We've never done it before, but I'll let you take one if you want.
I'm going to stick with it, Andrew. I made my bet. I have to lay in it regardless of what happens to the driver. Big time loose. He overheated those right rear tires off of turn 2 after he got into Isaiah Sutherland, so he's definitely fighting a loose race car right now. Going into turns 3 and 4, there it is. It just snaps around on him. The same thing that happened to Corder early on, but that was a way bigger hit.
I'm surprised he didn't go over.
I'm surprised there was no caution.
Out front, Barnes leads over Yeager. Sutherland has fallen back. It's back to the 27 and 42, and the 42 is going to drive on by and take my first nomination for driver of the day. I don't know where the heck this guy came from, but Dylan Yeager is getting a nomination today for driver of the day. And I'm inclined almost to nominate Christian Barnes, but I want to look at one stat, Zach. On the ticker here, we're going to bring up positions gained over the course of the race. Barnes is up 15, 18 for Hughes, 24 for Clark, and that's going to take it. 24 spots for Coulter Clark. That's going to be my other nomination, because I don't know how you outlast this field. Start from the midpoint of the field, even towards the rear, and make it this far. Coulter Clark is getting a nomination here. He's going for driver of the day, as they are, oh my gosh.
He tipped the apron. Wolsifer is going to get into him. He's sliding. What a save! Stallings down on the apron. He's going to come back up onto the racetrack. Oh, and he's going to hit Wolsifer. Sliding, almost spinning. It's like these guys don't want to finish this race, but they're still going. Wolsifer hits Walker. Carton in the wall. Stallings is falling back. I don't know where we're going right now.
All the while, Yeager leads this race by a couple of tenths over Christian Barnes. They need a caution to get back to that 42 car. Barnes, I don't think he's got enough in the tank. I mean, yes, literally, he has enough fuel. I don't think he's got enough to get to that 42 car. He's been good today, and I was inclined to give him a driver of the day nomination, but he's just missing a little bit. He's so close, yet so far.
There's only so much that you can do with how much racing you have left to go. You've got to try to make the most of it, Andrew. There's not much left in this race, but there's still so much on the table right now. This top 10 has been shaken up. Andrew Rattel is up into 5th. Where did he come from?
And look at Jared Hughes. He goes on through for 3rd spot. Clark and Rattel battle for 5th. Osmer and Selby battle for 7th. Ray Walker in 9th. Richard Walsifer in 10th. This has been the most unhinged display of this league ever.
Contact.
That was Clark and Sutherland going at it. They're not done. Osborne now behind Clark into turn 3. Clark dives to the inside. Battle here for what will be the 4th spot. Look at Osborne. He's not done. That was 10 to go right there.
Sutherland's going to get the run around the 54. Split them 3 wide.
Rattel!
Rattel's going around.
Caution is out. We're going to re-rack and restack and go back at it inside of 10 to go. Who comes in? Who's got tires left? This is what you stay out for. When the cautions come out early in stages 1 and 2, this is why you stay out, as they got 3 wide. Sutherland got the fence. Rattel was there. And he just goes for a slide into the inside wall. And I feel for Corder, Maddox, and everybody else who had a single car incident today and did not get a caution. Because this, no offense to Andrew Rattel, we share a name. I got to root for the guy. But this, to be a caution and others not, that feels like a slap in the face to guys like Matthew Corder and Brendan Maddox.
Got a feel for him. Now that brings Maddox back into the race, though, Andrew. Can't wait to see how this could shape up with drivers potentially hitting pit road.
I would love to agree with you, Zach. Maddox is out. He's 9 laps down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot. Yeager is staying out on the racetrack.
He's not alone. 3 stay out. Yeager, Barnes, and Hughes. Everybody else comes in.
I don't know if I can agree with this one. I don't know. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Buttkicker also stays out. Osmer leads the charge down the pit lane. Wow. The vote so far between Yeager and Clark. Maddox, I hate it. He would have been a vote for sure, as there we go. There's pit stops complete. Sutherland going to lead the charge off the pit lane with 2 tires, along with Stallings and Wolsifer. So Sutherland, Stallings, Wolsifer all on 2. Osmer on 4. Bottoms on 2. Clark on 4. Cameron Carden on 2 tires. Gray Walker on 4. Then Camper on 2. Dyer on 4. Moyer on 4. And Kyle Heath is the next car behind them. He is taking some repairs. So 15 cars out front all just made their beds. Everybody else is taking repairs. And there's Dylan Yeager, a sitting duck. Maybe the most speed of the night. 37 laps led. Really, all he's missing, Zach, for this to be a dominant race, I would say, is a stage win. But seeing as how it was Osborne in stage 1, Camper in stage 2, he's really only dominated, if you will, stage 3. And you've got to dominate the whole race, I feel like, for it to be called dominant. But he's going to lead us to the green flag alongside the Sundance Pizza 98 and others. It'll be Yeager, Hughes, Sutherland, and Barnes. That's not right. Hang on. They chose. That's right. It'll be Yeager, Hughes, Barnes, and Patinko on old tires. Patinko chose the bottom behind Barnes. The first car on tires, Zach, that's your tried and true 24 of Sutherland, and I gotta believe with 6 laps to go, fresh tires, that 24 just might win this race.
Never know. I feel like these guys made a big call staying out, and it's not really going to benefit them. They don't have... If it was 2 laps to go, I'd say go for it, but you've still got 6 laps to go, and we take the green flag here, Andrew. It's going to get dicey as the pace car pulls off. Here we go.
Back around to the Geico restart zone. 6 laps to go. The most unhinged race I've ever seen from this league is back underway at Texas Motor Speedway. Watch that 24. He's got brand new tires. Not much fight put up so far on that 24 car. He's going to dive to the inside of Hughes and have position into the 3rd turn. They're 3 wide behind him as they swallow up the old tires. And Osmer's on the outside. Couple in the wall, Gray Walker and more. Patinko down to the grass. This is maybe going to be a caution here inside of 5 to go. I see Jason Bottoms spinning, Patinko spinning, no caution. We stay green for now.
Wow.
Oh, there goes Sutherland in the wall hard. Off of Lucifer, goes the 24. He's going to come back up the racetrack. Can he keep it down? Just barely. No caution again. And Osmer's through to 2nd. Can he have a comeback drive?
What were you talking about? Unhinged racing? This is unhinged racing right here. Osmer around the outside of the 42.
One of the wall, it's Hughes.
One on the wall. Oh, he's spinning into the wall. Keeps it up there, keeps it rolling. We are still green. Stallings to the inside of Lucifer. They're trying to pass up because whoever gets by each other as they're rubbing against each other, whoever gets past each other is going to have to contend with Yeager and go get Osmer to try and get this race win. Stallings wants to win it from the pole. Lucifer wants to build off of the good luck that he has rolling for him this season. It was a bad luck season last season for Lucifer. Now he's trying to build on it. Sitting in the 4th spot. Contact for 2nd. Yeager gets almost around. Lucifer hits the wall. He's going to try to split the middle. 3 wide.
3 wide at turn 3. Clark is watching it all. He's now going to move to the inside of Yeager for 4th spot. Lucifer gets on through. 2 laps to go here in Texas. There's Clark on the inside of Lucifer, who bullies the 54 out of the way. What a race it's shaping up to be. 2 laps to go for the 15 car. Ronnie Osmer, who showed up this season, finished 5th at Daytona in his first ever start with BRB. Goes and wins stage 1 this evening, gets penalized for a caution caused with Brendan Maddox. And now, Zach, he's going to come around and take the white flag, brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams.
Going on by Andrew Rattel as he takes that white flag. Dustin Stallings is closing in on that number 15 Celsius Chevrolet, but he's not gonna have enough time, Andrew. He went to the front. He won stage 1. He went all the way into the 30s, fell way back in the running order, and now he's gonna roll through 3 and 4 and potentially come home a winner here at Texas.
Ronnie Osmer gonna get it done at Texas Motor Speedway off of turn number 4. The 15, Ronnie Osmer wins the U.S. Aviation Academy 250. What a race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Stallings the fastest on the final lap, but it's not enough to get it done. He comes home a half second behind this man, Ronnie Osmer, with a race win.
Hey, at least it shows you that he was trying and he was driving that last lap.
He was
doing all he could.
He was digging.
Digging. That is the name of the game. But Stallings comes home 2nd, Lucifer 3rd, Selby 4th, Cameron Carden for Whiplash Racing recovers for a 5th place finishing position. Coulter Clark, Dakota Camper, Sam Dyer, Robert Boyer, and Yeager falls all the way down to 10th after that restart. I told you, Andrew, staying out with 6 laps to go, it was not going to work out for them.
Not unless we got another caution, and even then, it would have taken a lot to do it. Tires were the way to go. It's just like an old Atlanta race. Tires are king. Whoever had them left on that last restart was going to go to victory lane. And it was Ronnie Osmer with a 4-tire pit stop and a fantastic restart to hang on this evening. There's so many more layers to the onion because Sutherland had a great shot. You just have to go back and watch it back. If you missed it, watch it back. I don't know what else to say. There was too much going on. Those final 6 laps. Insanity. Unhinged. Chaotic. Best ways to describe this one. Ronnie Osmer brings home the win for Southern Excitement Racing. We talked to him after winning stage 1. We theorized a little bit about whether or not he could get it done this evening, and I thought about picking him as well for a driver of the day. That's a missed opportunity. Oh no, wait, hang on. You took him.
I did.
You did. And that was not a missed opportunity. That was an opportunity well pounced on to go from the front to the back to the front. That is a solid job for car 15. We'll look over the full results here in just a moment. Of course, you have a chance to make your vote for driver of the day. It's Maddox, Osmer, Yeager, and Clark. 4 of the most impactful drivers in this race. Oh, wow. Let's,
I wouldn't want to be race control reviewing everything after this race is over.
No, me either. What a crazy, crazy race. Let's go back and look over the unofficial race results first, and then we'll talk to some drivers this evening after 165 laps of utter insanity this evening. Ronnie Osmer goes to victory lane. Unofficial race results on your screen here, starting with Ronnie Osmer. Look at that top 10, and just the drivers we'll be talking to. Osmer with the win. Stallings backing up a run at Daytona last week, and Richard Wolsifer finally gets the monkey off his back. It's not a win, Zach, but it is a top 3. 3rd place for Wolsifer. He's talking to us at the end of the race. That is a win in and of itself. Matthew Selby 3rd. Cameron Carden in his rookie season. There's still some kinks to work out. He got into a little bit of trouble early in the race, but he came back and finished 5th. Coulter Clark, sophomore slump, not happening for the 54 car. He finishes 6th. Dakota Camper recovers to 7th. Sam Dyer and Robert Moyer, the broadcasters of the driver base here, they finish 8th and 9th. And Dylan Yeager comes home 10th. I know Dylan wanted the win, maybe deserved the win, but quite frankly, Zach, you can't frown at a top 10.
No, you cannot. Top 10 is always a great thing to have, especially in this race, Andrew. You'd be lucky to get a top 10 with just how much everyone was tearing it up throughout the entirety of the race. But we've got more drivers other than the top 10. Moving on down the running order, you've got Gray Walker in the 18, finishing 11th on the day. Kyle Heath right behind him in the 12th spot. Christian Barnes ends up 13th on the day, with Cameron Gilmore ending up 14th. Kind of someone we didn't really touch on too much throughout the entirety of the race. Jamie Plord ends up 15th. Patrick Hernandez, he was up in the top 5. He ends up 16th on the day. Isaiah Sutherland, after pounding the inside wall with contact from Wolsifer, he ends up 17th on the day. Stays on the lead lap though, stays in contention. Jared Hughes ends up 18th on the day after having that run in with the outside wall. Jason Bottoms, after spinning on the exit of pit road, he ends up 19th, and then 20th is going to belong to Zachary King.
21st spot, Evan Patinko. Not how he wanted to end this race. Is what it is. I think it's a lot to build on there for the 81 camp and that whole team over at Redacted Motorsports. It's Andrew Rattel in 22nd. Braden Van Wingerden, 23rd. Those two finish one lap down. Then it's everybody else who was caught up in calamity. Scott Fritz, Carl Pooler, Dan Saccaro, Brendan Maddox, Josh Anderson, Cody Dorsey, and Braxton Skinner, all several laps down, differing varieties of what happened to put them in those kinds of spots, but they just finish inside the top 30.
That they do. Rolling on outside the top 30, though, a lot of drivers that also got involved in calamity. Adam Buzzio managed to get on the racetrack and turn some laps. He ended up passing Joshua Parent at the end. So 31st to Adam Buzzio, 32nd to Josh Parent. Right behind him is his Whiplash Racing teammate Nick Renner. After getting involved in a few incidents, he had to take that car out of the race. Zachary Brandvold, after getting involved in that incident with Johnny Wood Jr., they both finished respectively 34th and 35th. 36th belongs to Stephen Borbell. Eric Jensen ends up in the 37th position, over 100 laps down. The first car over 100 laps down. Then you have Caden Perkins, ends up 161 laps down. That's 38th. 39th belongs to Matthew Corder. He only turned one lap, and Derek Dryman ends up 165 laps down in the 40th position, but that car was still running at the end, so I'm wondering if he got disqualified or anything that would have put him further down the running order.
He wasn't running at the end. Timing and scoring puts him in 30th. But you see there on the results screen, must have been DQ'd. Ends up 40th on the results screen. None of his laps counting. So maybe that's a story you can follow up on, Zach, with Race Control, because that is most interesting for sure. But Ronnie Osmer comes home with the race win when it's all said and done. An insane day here at Texas, unhinged as we called it several times, but it's Osmer who won stage 1 to come back through and win this race. It's not a ticket punch to the chase, but it's a big stepping stone to get you to championship contention, Ronnie, in your first season ever. Obviously, you're an industry member, you're well seasoned on iRacing, but to join this series and come out of the gate swinging so dang hard, 33 laps led, you won stage 1, this has to feel so dang good.
Yeah, it definitely feels crazy. It's just first league win I've had in a while in any leagues, and it's just a crazy way to do it. It's just I messed up hitting my pit stall at the end of stage 1, put me in a position where I shouldn't have been, get sent to the back, get damaged, fix it, played the cards right, and luckily came out with this dub.
And it's a big dub this evening, outlasting all of the craziness there at the end. And we're watching it here on the replay, slow-mo there. I'm going to call that, Zach, I'm just going to take it. Lucky performance, lucky break of the day to not get caught behind the 56 and 24 when they went down the racetrack. Was that the moment that it felt like the seas parted and you knew you could run down that 42 car?
Absolutely. It was just, I knew the 24 was an aggressive blocker earlier before that caution and throughout the race, and then the 56 I knew was my toughest competition because I knew he was also on fresh tires. And as soon as they cleared, I saw, I saw the 42, and he had no tires left, so he stayed out, and yeah, it was like such a relief, and just held my breath the last 5 laps.
You hang on here to get the race win in the second race of the season, and for you to have this speed on the first, quote, real racetrack of the season, your number has to be called again. We have to be watching out for car 15 more. I mean, is there a track on this schedule where you feel like you can repeat what you've done this evening?
I'm hoping I can repeat this on all of them.
Fair enough.
Why stop here?
Fair enough. Well, it's going to be a 3-way tie. I was looking over at the driver of the day vote. It's going to be a 3-way tie, and you're going to be a part of it. I'm just going to end it now. You are one of our 3 drivers of the day, Ronnie. We don't usually do that, but with how crazy this was, we may as well continue on. So props there as well. A race win, a stage win, a whole bunch of points. Driver of the day, sort of. Craziness. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ronnie Osmer, first place this evening at Texas, and he does it over Dustin Stallings, who went to victory lane last week. Look at this 3-wide moment. This was a big separator there. Hughes got in the wall as a result of that, Zach, but Dustin comes home to back up a second place finish this evening.
Started on pole for the day. He won Daytona. He finishes second here. So realistically speaking, Dustin, you have over these 2 races the best average finish of the field so far this season. How's it feel to pull home second after you started first? You only led about 1 lap on the day, but you were still in contention for it all.
Yeah, there were plenty of times throughout the race tonight that I felt like I was going to get caught up in some mess. Third stage, there was quite a few close calls, but I couldn't be more proud of myself tonight. I feel like last week was just kind of luck of the draw for me. Typically, super speedways aren't good to me, but tonight, all the practice with my team and our alliance with Spirit Racing, those guys, we put a lot of work in for tonight. Just super hard racing. Like it was more aggressive than I thought it was going to be going into tonight. But there were some moves that were a little questionable. I mean, I probably made a couple toward the end there, but I managed to keep it down. and not really use anybody up too much. But super happy for the 15. I think he's a new guy this season. He done really good to pull this out, especially with late race caution there with the late restart, and had a really fun battle with Richard there at the end. Just couldn't be more proud of the team. It's just really good.
Absolutely. And what does that mean for you going into the next race? We're rolling from a intermediate track to a short track. Do you think you're going to continue to build off of this? And, dare I say it, should we consider you one of the championship favorites early in this season?
I think it's Iowa next week, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
it is Iowa.
Okay. Typically, I'm pretty good at short tracks. I'm just somehow I just managed to conserve my tires pretty well, and I've been trying to help coach my teammates up and try to help them get a little bit better in that department. But as far as the championship, too early for me to really think about that, honestly. Right now, it's just 1 week at a time. Just focus, prepare for the next race, try to hope our strategy goes like the plan, or if we got a plan B or plan C, we hope it just works out. So it's too early to tell right now, but it feels really good to have a win last week and a P2 tonight. So it's just going to have to see how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your second place finish, Dustin. Hopefully we're talking to you more this season, and hopefully we'll see you next week running good again at Iowa. Congratulations once again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Girl Dad and Dead Downwind and Caterpillar, and then E.T. McKenzie Companies. They're my main sponsors. My primary this year is going to be Girl Dad. And also want to give a huge shout out to my teammates. We have just been clicking on every cylinder right now. I hate that they had some issues again tonight. I was hoping they could get a good run in after last week. But also give a shout out to all the admins, all the sponsors and partners with the league. Without those guys, we wouldn't even be here. Especially you guys doing the broadcast. Y'all do an amazing job. I love watching them. It's just super fun to watch. Just shout out to the guys there at the end too, racing for the win. Had a blast. So that's just hope next week goes well. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, we always love to see our drivers shouting out their sponsors. So congratulations again, Dustin. Hopefully you'll be doing the same thing next week. Congratulations again. Appreciate
it, buddy.
Absolutely. Dustin Stallings, I'd be happy about a second place finish too, Andrew. That's been a solid run over the course of the day. And, it was a tough race to stay in contention too.
It was a tough race for everybody. We never knew who was going to win this race or finish second, third, fourth, or wherever. We never knew what was going to happen until the very end. And somebody who slipped through the cracks, had a good race building through the mid portion of the day, and then just was there all of a sudden at the end on new tires. Richard Wilsifer. Richard, you finally get that monkey off your back and get a good finish this evening. Third place, a bunch of points. How relieving does this feel?
Oh man, Andrew, getting a podium finally after a long struggle from last season feels great. I had a great qualifying lap, started P4. Kind of fell off in stage 1. I kind of ran the tires a little harder than I thought I was, so I dropped, tremendously there. Didn't really get any stage points in stage 2 either. To start stage 3, we had a massive checkup on the restart, which gave me severe nose damage, and it just completely killed my speed, and I was just hoping and praying for a caution, which we finally got. And then it was just slow and steady trying to make it through the field again. What kind of helped was just people kind of getting into each other, into the walls, just kind of being slower. So I was able to get around him then. But no, it was a really fun last shootout to the end there. Isaiah got into my nose a little bit. I think he was trying to stay off the wall, which kind of gave me more damage on my nose, but I just had to deal with it at that point. And then I had a little less speed than everybody because of that damage, and Selby definitely could have got me, but I was driving that car as hard as I possibly could coming out of 4 just because it's the final lap, and got into him a little bit, which sent him into the wall. But I mean, he's still able to pull out a P4, so I'm glad for that. But no, it was really relieving. Limitless themselves had a really, really rough night of racing. Johnny got wrecked out, and Carl just got involved in a lot of wrecks as well. So unfortunate for them. You
bring it home third place, maybe a new omen for Limitless Racing, possibly to bring some good things to that team. And I have a question. We've seen some struggles for the Stints Built paint scheme, some bad luck here. I mean, really, for you as a whole, unfortunately. Does this mean the Stints Built Chevrolet is back in full force? I mean, you bring it back this evening, third place. It's looking up.
I mean, this is my primary scheme, my primary sponsor, and everything for the car. So it will pretty much remain like this. The last scheme I raced at Daytona was actually a Limitless special scheme because they had gotten a decal set in Rocket League for the RLCS. So I was just paying homage to that and ran that last week at Daytona. But this will be the primary scheme that we see the rest of the season. I mean, Homestead, in my opinion, last season was probably a good omen for how my season 4 is going to be, finishing P2 there and actually keeping up with a lot of the faster guys I normally couldn't. So, a great start to the season, finished 7th at Daytona, finishing 3rd here. I mean, it's only up, but still a lot of hard work to keep it up, so.
Well, it's a third place for you this evening. Congratulations. And we're watching out for car 56 to hopefully repeat on this and maybe even finish a couple of spots better a couple times this season. Congrats once again. We all are happy for you.
Well, thanks, Andrew. And I got to give a shout out, again, Stints Built for being on the car, Simrap Market for the amazing wraps that they have that y'all can go and get and design your own paint schemes for the track. Advanced GG. Regiment, Track Racer, and all them. Got to huge thank to you guys here at Pit Stop. You guys put on a great product. Love going back and watching these races after the race is done on Tuesday because I like staying up late for some odd reason. And huge shout out to, again, my wife who tends to watch these races every now and then, and my dad who tunes in the day after, and also one of my other family members, a couple of them that tend to tune in and watch as well. So thanks to all them.
Well, get your popcorn ready when you watch this one back. It was crazy all race long, and you were a great part of that. Once again, congratulations, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Richard Wolsifer with a big finish here at Texas Motor Speedway. There's the contact between him and Selby off of 4, but what a drive for car 56, driver 56 this evening to come home third place. And I tell you what, Zach, the league Discord is a lively place right now.
I'll tell you one place I don't want to be. I don't want to be in the tower right now.
I don't want to be in the tower. I don't want to be in the holler. Dakota Blind, where you at? I don't envy any of these admins this evening. What a crazy day.
They're going to have a big post-race breakdown to talk about, more than likely on the Holler podcast on Thursday. Usually, we're preoccupied with North American Racing League. You and Mason Houseman have been covering that in full force this season. They just wrapped up last week. So, hey, now you got a free Thursday to go watch the Holler podcast.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting season from here. We go to Iowa next, a short track where tempers are going to flare. It's going to happen. We got to be ready. 200 laps next week. That is going to be a fun one. And let me take a look at my notes. That is going to be the Seal Best 200. That's going to be a lot of fun. This evening, the U.S. Aviation Academy 250 belongs to Ronnie Osmer. But next week, we don't know what's going to happen at Iowa. Then the big speedway at Michigan, the road course at Coda, the short track at Bristol. Then we're back to some intermediates: Kansas, Charlotte, Dover, Indy, Gateway, Rockingham, Miami. It's going to be a little more fast-paced from there, and I think some chances for these guys to stretch their legs out and get into what I call maybe more traditional stock car racing. Kansas and Charlotte, a couple 1.5s. Dover, that tight 1 mile racetrack. Indianapolis, it is what it is. Some people do and don't like it here on a NASCAR-style schedule, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then Gateway was crazy last season. Rockingham and Miami were great races last season to end season number 3, and should be great to end the regular season here in season number 4. Then it's a tumultuous chase: Nashville, Chicago Street Course, Talladega, California, and Las Vegas. Oh boy, but we got to look next week at race number 3, Iowa. It's It's not a bull ring, but it's really high banked. It is a short track. We're going to see these guys get into one another. It's going to be tough to put all 43 cars around that place. Only 7/8 of a mile, Zach, but I'm looking forward to it.
Imagine the chaos that we saw tonight at Iowa.
Yeah.
All that chaos on a much smaller track. Oh boy. We're going to have ourselves a field day at Iowa Speedway, and then we take a little less of a week off, and we go straight back to the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series at Michigan, May 27th. Like you said, Andrew, month of June coming up, the Major Series, they've got their Le Mans race, and that's going to be round number 6. It's going to take us to the halfway point, and then a couple weeks later, we'll be going to the same track, same cars, same classes, same drivers, but for 24 hours. I don't know how well that's going to go. We had a great broadcast for it last season with the Major Series. That was kind of our Majors debut, I feel like, and I can't wait for it again. Although I don't think my alarm clock going off at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm ready to pass out and it's waking me back up is going to be any less of a shock than it was last season.
Yeah, coverage for the Majors 24 will begin at 9 a.m. on Saturday and 3 a.m. on Sunday. And I have to chuckle every time I say that, even think it. It's going to be crazy, but that's 24-hour racing for you. That's just how it goes. But yes, a lot of great races coming up for us here at Pit Stop TV. There's the full spread of the next 3. There might be a special one in there somewhere. Watch out for that on Pit Stop TV socials. And Zach, one of those 2 races, either the Le Mans 2.4 or the Majors 24, will be our very first Pit Stop TV broadcast with rain. The North American Racing League keeps it disabled. They don't like it. Can't blame them. But the Major Series embraces it, and it's going to be a fun one. Le Mans classes on the full Le Mans circuit with rain at some point in those races. I don't know which one's going to be first. I don't know if we're going to get rain in the Le Mans 2.4, but we're definitely going to get it in the 24. So if not the 2.4, the 24 will be that first broadcast we have with rain. Look out for that. Otherwise, Zach, a lot of places to keep up with Pit Stop TV.
Absolutely. You want to see all the rain coming down in the Majors 24? We'll make sure you keep up to date with all the Pit Stop TV social media channels, pitstoptv.com, facebook.com/pitstoptv, instagram.com/pit_stop_TV, tiktok.com/pitstoptv1, twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, youtube.com/pitstoptv1, and x.com/pitstoptv_. And I feel like Andrew just doesn't want me to break my record anymore because he added that extra one and had to get a TikTok channel. But hey, I'm gonna keep getting faster. I say this stuff in my sleep, man. Like it's engraved into my brain. When I close my eyes, I see Pit Stop TV.
You're not alone. You are not alone, trust me. But what a great day here at Texas. The U.S. Aviation Academy 250 ends with Ronnie Osmer out front. Congratulations to Ronnie and the entire Southern Excitement Racing crew. What a great day here at Texas Motor Speedway, race number 2 of an exciting 18-race season. We're only 2 races in. We've had 2 crazy ones to get it going. I can't wait for what Week 3 holds at Iowa Speedway next week. Thanks for tuning in here at Pit Stop TV. It's been a pleasure as always, and I'm going to give another big shout out to Maddox Graphics and all partners here with the BRB Racing League Buttkicker Cup Series. And it's a new season. We're still kind of going through some growing pains, but I got to shout out Maddox Graphics. Unfortunately, this is on me. Don't have them on the graphic yet. They'll be on the graphic for Iowa. I'm going to make sure of it, but they will be in graphics here. Maddox Graphics is a lot behind the scenes here with along with the Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideally, Sundance Pizza, and Performance Food Group. The only one missing there is that big M of Maddox Graphics. So guys, we appreciate everything you do. All groups here on this screen, plus Maddox Graphics, and we can't wait to move forward here in season number 4. It's going to be a lot of fun as things go forward, and a big appreciation moment as well for Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and the North American Racing League. That does it here for myself and Zach Murtis. Thanks so much for tuning in. The sun sets behind the grandstands there, but the sun is just getting to shining here on this brand new BRB Racing League season. 2 races down, 16 to go. Thanks for coming along for the ride so far. We'll see you all next time.